It's Too T3rpd.
Okay. So question number 1. Do you freestyle?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I don't, but I never turned down a challenge, so.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Say less. Hold on, let me. There we go.
All right. It's the Too T3rpd pod. My name is Lux. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it with bucks. I don't know. Did that work for anybody? I don't think that worked for me.
Shit, that was fine. What
We
you
should do
mean?
this after we smoke.
Hey, that's better
You
than
can't
most.
tell I'm super Caucasian. Just like, no rhythm. There's no rhyming.
I mean,
None of it.
You did better than most, honestly.
Thank you.
There's
I
been a
just
lot
have
of
no
people on
shame
here.
and no fear, so why not go for it?
Hell yeah. That's what it is, yo. And it's a Too T3rpd podcast. And it's your boy Donovan, a.k.a. Mr. You Knew What It Was When You Signed Up.
And back behind the screen, we got No Socials T, the biggest hypocrite on the IG.
A.k.a. Tyler Farquaad. Make the lady say, oh my God. All right.
No socials. It's like you're like the anti-me. You have no. Does he really have no socials?
Well, you got one now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I'm gonna need to tag you after this. What are we talking about here, T? Come on.
It took him a minute,
I'll
though.
help you sign up for things if you. I'll help you.
I know.
Yeah, I signed up for it, and I'm the first one to get banned on it for no reason.
That is true.
It only took
Didn't
like
take
4
that
months.
into consideration. Maybe you shouldn't. Be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. His meme game is pretty wild, though.
Yeah.
Save those for the group chat.
Yeah,
by the meme, die by the
close
meme.
friends. Yeah, we'll teach you close friends this time.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, let's do that. I can't get banned again.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. We got a special guest in the building, yo. This is pretty dope, yo. All right, so we got a St. Louis legend in the building.
Stab.
I'm sure you already heard her voice before plenty of times, especially if you listen to The Point. We got Lux in the building.
Yeah, if you like alternative rock from the 90s and the 2000s and you were in St. Louis in the last 15 years, you might have heard my voice
Hell
on
yeah.
1057 The Point. But I did retire in May, and I'm thrilled to be here on this podcast.
Yeah, this is wild, yo.
This is the first time I've been back in front of like a podcast, like audio mic situation like this in a long time, too. Feels good. Got headphones on and everything. Like back at home, maybe.
Yo, hold on, let me drop a bomb, yo. Hold
This
on.
feels good. This feels good. Like
know, right?
microphone, headphones.
That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, we got that live studio audience too. Gotta make sure gotta make you feel loved out here.
On top of the Bob and Tom drops.
She's just trying to make me feel at home.
Yeah. So how you feeling today?
I'm great. I'm feeling great. It was a little bit cloudy outside, but the sun came out. You know, us Missourians, and specifically St. Louisans, we care about the weather very much.
Very
Gives
much
us a lot to talk about. So, of course, I'd have to mention the weather first.
Hell yeah, you already know. I mean, it changed this week too.
It really did.
It went from what yesterday it was 70.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, like 30s today.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But you know what the good thing is? If you consume, you never have a bad day. You're always smiling.
That
It's
is
always
true.
sunny inside my brain.
That is a fact, yo. As a matter of fact, shit, we probably need to get something rolled up already, yo.
Yes, this
gonna
is
be a little
actually what I
different.
left radio for. That was the whole point. So I could help get into the green industry. Oh, thank you. Oh, this smells nice. What do we got here?
There's some Marshmallow OG by one of the homies out here, Smelly Gouda,
I like it.
Yeah.
Also, I like that name.
local cultivator out here.
Yeah.
Oh, did I get you a? Hold on. There's a grinder in my bag.
I like the. We talked about this before we got on the mic, but obviously the oak tray is a classic, especially being from the Midwest. If you don't know what oak is, it's the way that we in the Midwest would acknowledge that we have encountered you by surprise. So if you bump into somebody, just oh, sorry, didn't see you there.
See, I didn't realize that was just a St. Louis thing until recently.
Oh no, you went somewhere else and said it, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that face you get from people, it's can really shake you.
For real, for real.
You realize there's a difference between like just like Midwestern hospitality and then like St. Louis hospitality.
That's a
We're
fact.
special.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I feel like it's more like around here, it's kind of not welcoming until people like really get to know you. I kind of feel like it's real cliquish around here.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Are you from St. Louis?
Uh-huh.
Okay, me too. So you and I are both just, We've been in it.
Yeah.
We were born here.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
can say anything to us.
Exactly.
It's crazy because my dad not being from here and my mom didn't grow up here all the time. She was born here, but she didn't grow up here. So neither of them were like Cardinals fans.
Oh, shit.
Growing up, not having that, just it's like a little West County kid. Everyone on their mom and their grandmas all going to the Cardinal game, and I have no understanding of what that is. I fell in love with the Cardinals in 2011, as everybody else did.
Really?
I managed to fall in love with them a couple months before we won the World Series, but that was like the year for me that I fell in love with it. But like the torment of all the kids for the years and years before that, when I didn't know what they were talking about.
So were you able to go to
Sorry,
any
guys.
games growing up or anything?
We would go like if like the school offered a discount or if like my choir sang or something like that, we would go. But my parents weren't since they weren't baseball fans. We're football, basketball fans.
Oh,
and
that's what's up.
We don't have NBA or NFL here, so
I love basketball.
I do too.
I'm a huge Lakers fan.
Oh man, I say that because I love Shaquille O'Neal so much, so I love the Shaquille. Lakers years.
I thought you were gonna say that you weren't a Lakers fan. That's why I was like, uh-oh.
Oh no, I'm a Bulls fan, but
I'll give you that.
That's
Okay,
just I think that's a proximity again,
Yeah.
and like growing up as like a little tomboy, my dad would let me stay up later if I watched the Bulls game, and I'm like, yep, I can stay up till 9 if I watch the Bulls game, and I loved basketball, so
Hell yeah.
of course.
Did you play growing up?
I did.
Okay.
I was actually the captain of the varsity team
shit.
at Parkway Central my junior year of high school.
Damn.
I will continue to be proud of that for the rest of my life. And then my senior year, I did Palms and just was like, whatever, let's just dance, fuck it. Why not? Have some
That's
fun.
lit. You proved your point. You said shit. I run this shit. I need to show y'all no more. Yeah.
I'm done. I think you burn out on stuff. Well, I have really bad ADHD, and that's one of the reasons I consume. I consume for multiple medical reasons, but one of them is ADHD. And for me to like be passionate about any one hobby or thing for any like extended period of time is pretty incredible. So for me to have such a long run with basketball and in fact radio, now that I look back on it, is pretty incredible. Now, the one thing I have never weaned on is my love for cannabis, but I do feel like that's because it helps me in so many different ways and helps so many other people I know around me in so many different ways, and I think that's just different.
Okay, so you kind of led me into my our first segments, kind of the early cannabis origins.
Perfect.
So when
I
did
got
you?
options here, don't I?
Oh yeah, we got. Oh my bad. Did I hand you some papers too?
So this is the most embarrassing thing. I do not know how to and cannot roll a joint. I have like all these really cool tools that like help me do them. Yes, I've got like cones, I've got like all sorts of things, but the amount of times that people have tried to teach me is so embarrassing. Like that's not something you walk up as like a bot. Like I'm a bot. You know, you don't walk up and you're like, oh, I don't know how to roll. Here I am.
I'm actually glad you did, because like I'm about to use a joint roller.
Oh, that's amazing. I've always just got my little cones. I've got this little thing, you know what I mean? I think I got a grinder that like grinds directly into the cone. Like there's just so many ways to make it, quick and easy. Although I have so many friends who really take the ritual of that very seriously. And I'm sad that I don't have that.
I'm trying to learn.
But I've got my own ritual where I scoop it into the cone and I'm still very happy about it.
I get you some
I
cones
feel
real
it
quick.
either way. No, you're good. I got all sorts of stuff here.
Okay. I want to make sure.
I'm also a peace gal myself.
Nice.
So what was you had something you were on your mind there?
Oh yeah. Your early cannabis origin. So when did you first start smoking?
So my first time was after my senior year of high school. It was like the big party, we have finished high school, we're seniors party, and somebody offered me a joint, and I laughed for the rest of the night. I laughed until I couldn't laugh anymore. I had the best night of my life. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But I had been such a goody all through high school that I didn't know a plug. I didn't know anybody I could talk to. So I went away to college and would have it on occasion if people had it at parties, but I always just like, those were my favorite nights. I was able to relax. I was less socially anxious. I never woke up feeling hungover or anything. I was like, this is so great. So when it started to become a little bit more, I don't know, where it wasn't as sketchy to go out and try and find some on the black market. And when I finally was able to and start using it, it's like, oh, this helps with so many things. Like, you have your period cramps and then all of a sudden you smoke and then you don't have your period cramps. You're like, oh, well, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it's actually a plant. So I started to fall in love with it on a medical scale quite a bit later. But it was one of those things where I just tried it and had the best time. I was like, this is so brilliant. I do remember, as important as this gets in here, is that my parents, they were hippies way back, but they were very strict growing up.
Really?
There's no drugs, very dare family, very oriented. Like we were very, very strict. But my parents now have been medically using now for a couple of years. So they took a trip to Amsterdam on a vacation, and they said, you got to check the culture out over here. Cannabis is like a thing. And I was like, what? So then they took me back the second time, and I went, and I was like, this is amazing. People aren't fighting in bars. Nobody's breaking glasses. There's not like harassment happening on the dance floors. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. You see like teenage boys, like a group of 6 of them, maybe 17, 18 years old, sitting at a table, playing card games and smoking joints. And you're like, this is totally different than the culture of we see them chugging shots and, throwing back. Like, wow, this is crazy. So then we went to Denver for our very first 420, and we took a educational tour that was geared towards medical. So we got to look at places where they do the concentrate, where they grow. We got to go to dispensaries and learn as much as we possibly could. And ever since, I think that was like maybe 2014 or so, that's when I was like, okay, this is going to come to St. Louis at some point. I love this so much. How do I become a part of it, and how do I help other people find it if it's something that they're interested in?
That's dope. Okay, so I got a couple questions off all of it.
Yeah.
We'll start from the beginning when you first said that your parents were originally into it, but then when you guys were growing up, they were strictly no drugs.
They were so strict when we were kids because I think they wanted us to, grow up not having any mind-altering substances, which I think is really smart. Yeah. Cannabis before the age of 18 is not necessarily something that I would advocate for unless you're using it medically and at the use of doctors, honestly. Yeah. I didn't try it till I was after 18 just because I was so scared of getting in trouble, and I was such an athlete. It just wasn't something that I considered. But then, being done with high school and being like, yeah, this is so great, and falling in love with it. Yeah. And then learning that, okay, yes, there are tinctures for children who are having seizures, and there are reasons for that. But again, I think my parents were just trying to keep me, because once I went to college, they kind of were like, whatever you do. Yeah. And then when they went to Amsterdam, and they were like, wait, because they did like a whole European trip, and that was just one of their cities, and they came home and they're like, this was great. We really loved this. And I was like, you guys, strict as strict guys. And they were like, yeah, us. And I was like, we've been closer than we've ever been since, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's so dope how that happens too. Like, I got an uncle that smokes, but other than that, nobody in my immediate family smokes at all. So it's kind of like been trying to break down that stigma. So it's really interesting how this podcast has kind of like brought everyone together. Because at first they were like pissed about it. And now like the more it's growing and stuff, they're kind of like, okay, now well, no, I'm not going to say it just yet. But yeah, I mean, my whole cannabis story is really growing. And it's amazing how like it's evolving over time now.
Yeah, especially when you do have like a couple members who do support it. You're like, this is so great. But the other ones, you're like, you love me, right? And they're like, yes. And you're like, you respect me, right? I'm like, yes. And you know that I'm doing this for my health, right? Yes. Then where's the no? Or you say to them like, hey, everybody's body has the endocannabinoid system in it. Everyone's. Mm-hmm. So your body is literally made to take in this substance the same way it is like water or anything else, like air. Like your body is already making cannabinoids in there, and it comes directly from the earth. There's nobody dies from this, nobody overdoses, and then they still look at you and go, that's wrong. You're like, that's how you know that they have just been beaten down with like propaganda for like generations. And you're like, man, how, I want to be that person who opens that up for you. Like, I want to be the one who says, yeah, I'm that girl who is helping you get the dog you wanted adopted, or go to the show you wanted to, or find out about the event on the radio station. That whole time I was using cannabis, and it helped with my anxiety, it helps with my stress, it helps with depression, it helps with any kind of cramps or anything I'm dealing with woman-wise. It really helps with, back pain, leg pain, anything, restless leg syndrome, insomnia, like where you just go and go and go, and it takes care of all of those, which is pretty incredible. I also know and do respect that there are people who this is not for, and I think that it's really important for you to do it right. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing that one of my goals when I got into this was helping people start in the proper way. Mm-hmm. With a really low dose, with a strain that might have higher CBD to THC, something easier for them in the method that makes them feel the most comfortable in a comfortable environment. Like I remember Chelsea Handler, I think it was, said in one of either her podcast or comedy special, talking about how she could be like the Sherpa for all people. If you just wanted to try weed, she would be like the person. I was like, that seems like really great because so many people have such a scary experience. Perhaps some of it wasn't the propaganda, but they smoked a joint in college and it was laced with something. And so they had a terrible experience and now they're like, never again. And you're like, oh man. But, you know, you have cancer and I could really help you if you just took this tincture, I swear, because the CBD content is so much higher than the THC. You're not going to feel the psychoactive. I swear it's going to help your body, you know. And it's just being able to give them that intro into it that's not so scary, break the stigma down, show them that you're a person who consumes, you're somebody they respect, somebody they love.
Yeah.
And you just cross your fingers, hope for the best.
Exactly. So I know we were talking about that a little bit earlier, how you were saying, like, you had the reputation. And now it's kind of like, now I'm smoking. How has that been received so far?
Well, it's funny because, like, I feel like if you really knew me, my coworkers and stuff, I would show up places and they'd be like, oh, Lux is high. I'd be like, yep, y'all are just taking shots back after shots back. We're all here together having a good time. And now every single one of them is like, Lux, I get high now. And I'm like, congratulations. Welcome to the club. Like, all of you who made fun of me now consume a lot of them. Or it's been really nice that people are willing to have discussions with me. So far, I've not really had anybody be like, ew, that's gross, or I don't want to work with you anymore, or I don't want to talk to you anymore. But they're always like, tell me more about that. Where do I get more information? And whether it's for them or not, it's not. But, like, people want to know there's information because it had been so illegal for so long, and it still is federally. We're unable to have the resources that we want as far as scientific information and studies, because we could be studying the absolute shit out of this plant. There are so many people who would love to get into studying it, and they're like, no, we can't get it done because federally you can't. It's like, we want more information. Just get us the information.
That's a fact. Like, that's one of the things.
Let's just study. Like, at least give them the pot so they can study it. Like,
exactly. Like, that's one of the things I feel like we've been trying to focus in on with the podcast. Whether it's growing at, you know, at a certain point, and we need to get back to that. We were talking about the laws a lot, or just giving people like aware of what's going on in the community when it comes to cannabis. I feel like it's really important to do that.
Yeah.
It is kind of like, as much as it is destigmatized, I feel like we're starting to get to a point now where people are willing to listen. So now it's important to really let them know the importance of what cannabis actually is. It's not just about getting high. It really is about trying to, like, really heal yourself, because there are so many things. Like, I got chronic foot pain, and so, like, that's one of the things that I use it for, definitely, all the time.
And you think to yourself, as somebody with chronic foot pain, what is your other option? Mm-hmm. Your other option is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, exactly, the hardcore drugs.
And a lot of those lead to addiction. We have studies, we have the knowledge on all that, believe it or not, because we've been studying it for a while. Mm-hmm. But still, you'd see people who'd rather see you go to the doctor and get a prescription to take a pill that they can't see or smell, or, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It makes them feel more comfortable. Whereas it's always so weird to me to say, like, hey, I'm alive today because I take this plant because it helps me, and it's literally a plant. Like, It just grows out of the ground. It's totally wild. I mean, if you're religious, Jesus made it. You know what I mean? The whole world, if that's like, he made all these plants. He made that one too. It doesn't kill anybody. Yeah. So let's giggle a little bit, and at the same time, like, reduce any of the other symptoms you're working with, because when we get the information out, that you'll be able to find strains you're looking for. You'll be able to learn about terpenes. I mean, having the title Too Terped, most people who listen to this podcast already know the secret isn't really sativa and indica, it's what terpenes you're using. But that's something the general public doesn't know. So that's why this kind of a podcast is really, really important. Cheers.
Cheers.
I love this. This is the COVID safe way now. Yep. You, like, really can't share joints. I don't know what you guys do, but we, like, cut straws. You, like, cut straws and everyone has their own little straw in it. I don't know. Do you guys do that?
No. We're pretty, like, I don't know.
Degenerate.
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, we're pretty unsafe around here. I ain't gonna lie. We definitely still do the puff pass.
It's the weed community. It's such a community.
Too many damn hippies, man. Them hippies.
That eventually you just forget and you just hand it over. Like, all right. Man, I'm so excited for it to be adult use here, because I do feel like there's still so many people who want to utilize it, but for other reasons are too afraid to go get their medical card. You'll hear people like, oh, get my medical card, I can't have a gun. Guys, well, this is Missouri. Yeah. They're not going to allow anything to take away your guns. It's not a little plant. Are you kidding me? We love our guns. Well, you can have a gun and your medical license. Or they're like, oh, my job's going to get me. I'm like, well, HIPAA. They can't
Yeah.
There's, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to tell them this kind of stuff. They don't get to know that kind of information, but still they're afraid. So being able to just open this up, I think that's the best thing. There was a lot of critique about our specific law and how it was going to be written and everything. But I think my biggest take is that it's going to open up access to so many people who were afraid to before, who couldn't get it before, who, you know, just didn't want to dip into the governmental pie there.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid. I got that card. We got that card. We rolling. I love that thing.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute to get my card.
Yeah.
I was really skeptical about it at first. Actually, shout out to Ruth at Suede, yo.
Yeah.
Like, Ruth the Truth, yo. She's the one who definitely convinced me to do it. And I feel like, honestly, once I did that, I was also able to elevate the podcast, too. Because, like, you know, I was able to really start going to dispensaries.
Yes. And there's different products and different methods, and that's something you're going to get some incredible homegrown from anybody. It doesn't have to be a dispensary at all or a strain. But when it comes to like edibles and beverages and tinctures and stuff, we're not there yet on the black market. So like, I bet that really took things up. And I love that we both love Ruth.
Oh yeah, that's a homegirl, yo.
My parents were like, they went to the very first day that Suede was open in Ellisville. They were like some of the very first customers, and they had their cards before me because they're cooler than me. But this is just no joke.
That's lit, yo.
Yeah, we can get them on here. They're the coolest.
Hell yeah. But, yo, I got to put you on to some edible makers, though, yo, around the city.
Yeah, you do. Because I really do. I did not like edibles up until a couple of years ago, just because I preferred to, choose my experience. Mm-hmm. And edibles, when I was younger, crept up on me. Now I have a pretty high tolerance and can pretty much... I don't know, it's got to be over 50 milligrams to really get anything going for me. So I'm pretty safe with pretty much anything I consume at this point, I'm safe with. So now I'm really into it.
Really?
So if you got people, hook me up with your people.
We got Rooted Buds. We got
full meals.
Hell yeah.
Because I love, especially, local, the more local stuff you can do, the better.
Sure. They're out of Ferguson. Then we got Kristen, Mad World Edibles.
Yes. I followed them on Insta.
She's my favorite, yo.
So good.
Yeah.
She does all the crispy bars, like rice. Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely get you hooked up with her.
Absolutely.
She's one of my favorite people. Like, she's a homie in real life. Like, that's one of my friends.
I haven't gotten to meet her in real life. I feel like we're just internet friends, but
we gotta make that happen.
In 2022, 23, you are like real friends with your internet friends, right? Like after the COVID, we all just decided we're now friends now, right?
Yeah,
we don't need to meet in person.
Social Neuralink at that point.
Absolutely, it just grew.
Then
to the next.
STL Space Streets.
Yeah.
Jermaine.
Oh, yeah.
She's dope as fuck.
What's your favorite edible? Like your go-to? You're in the store, you get like 60 seconds. Is it like a chocolate bar? Is it a beverage? Is it a...
I'm usually getting the beverage. What is it? Keef.
Yeah. Do you have I love the strawberry kiwi. Do you have a preference?
Blue raspberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Keef beverages are really good.
Yeah.
They've got one, it's called Flow. I think it's FLO, and it's like the energy one. It tastes like a Red Bull, and it's got a little bit of energy in it. That one's good too.
I've had that Mountain Dew one.
Yeah.
The Mountain Dew flavor one.
Oh, God, I love the beverages. The strawberry kiwi is like 200 milligrams in the thing, and it's indica. Mm. And like, I just love that the top itself unscrews, and you have your little measuring cup. They're literally making it as easy as possible. So for somebody who doesn't like to smoke, this is a perfect option for you. At the end of the night, you got your LaCroix, you got your raspberry, you got your strawberry, you got whatever flavor you got, guava, I don't know, pamplemousse. Yeah. Is that one of them, pamplemousse? And then you pour in your little shot of your, and you just sip it. And because you're sipping it, it's slowly going into your system, so you're not going to have that like one hit. Whereas if you had a brownie and just pumped it all in, I think it's the greatest. Just go to sleep at the end of the night if you want to. Like, and you don't have to be like us puffing. You can. There's so many ways you can consume now. It's beautiful.
I was with you until you said LaCroix. Then I was like,
see, the funny thing is like, I don't buy LaCroix. I think LaCroix is crappy. I like the bubbly Bublé.
Ooh,
I say that because Michael Bublé's in the commercials, but I think it's called bubbly. I think it's probably like the Target brand. I don't know. It's Pepsi's brand.
No, I think I have seen that one, but like the LaCroix tastes like hairspray.
Yeah, it's not. They're not good. But if you have like a soda, you can put it in anything. I mean, if you wanted to, get a little crazy, put it in a margarita.
Hell yeah.
That's for those of us who can mix. Not everybody can.
That's
Again,
true.
It's all about your own. It's taking your own journey. I think that's the most important part. There's this great brand. Have you guys heard of Midose?
No.
Okay, they're pens, and once you inhale, it vibrates when you've had exactly 5 milligrams. So you can choose your dose. Whether it's, okay, I only want to take one hit because I'm going to work, or I got my niece coming over, or whatever else it is, or you're like, hey, I just got done with work, it was crazy hectic, I'm gonna take a nap, you know what I mean? You can hit it 3 times. But like for people who want to inhale but aren't sure how much they're consuming.
Yeah.
I just think there's so much science and technology and stuff going into it. Over the next year, anybody who's ever been curious will have a nice, easy entryway into consumption.
I agree. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, like, have you been able to see any of like the underground market, like any of the events, or have you gone to any yet?
I have not gone to any of the events yet. I don't know if I'm not like on the invite list. I see them go by, and I always see them too late. Like there was a Thanksgiving I really wanted to go to, and I found out about it like 2 days beforehand, and we had like an ambush game on the Black Friday, so I couldn't. And I was like, how do I? But like the Cola Lounge and Sanct,
shout out to Brennan.
and you know what I mean? Like I've never been to any of these places, and they look so cool. I really need to get myself out there. Maybe I'm a little shy. I'm so new to the community. I don't know very many people. Maybe I'll roll up with you and be like,
definitely no, for real though, because like. At first, I was really nervous about getting out here and just doing it. And, like, the first event that I went to, everybody was actually really welcoming. All it takes is for you to go to one, and then you're like, oh, okay.
I was going to say, it's like when I walked into the first MoCan event, it was that Blaze back in May.
Yeah.
And I walked into the first thing, and everyone's seriously the nicest human. Like, that guy's the nicest guy. She's the nicest gal. He over there is also freaking nice. Because everyone who works in cannabis kind of has this understanding of health and wellness and wanting for people to have the freedom to choose.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of that good, positive, welcoming energy.
Yeah.
So I should really not be afraid. I just totally.
No. Like, I get it, though. It's like anxiety and all that. Venturing into a new space. I totally get it.
You wouldn't believe how socially anxious I am as a person, as somebody who's on the radio for 15 years, that now that I've been off the radio, I think I've been to one concert, and I left in May. Like, I haven't gone out to any events or anything like that. I'm like, oh man, except for ambush games, I'm at home chilling with my friends. I'm like, this is so nice. But really, when you work out a lot.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound wild to me at all. It actually makes sense.
Also, now that I think about it, all those events were mostly drinking events. So I think I would prefer to go. I think if I had places to go like that.
Yeah. If I had to go somewhere and dip off it, that's all I was going to ask
Yeah,
you
you know what
before.
I mean? Like, that's exactly. Or you have to, like, you get there and you're like, all right, cool, I'm just going to smoke real quick before I walk in so that I meet everybody on their level, because you show up and they've had at least 2 or 3 beers, or they're going to have those plus some shots and some margaritas, and then you're going to be staring at everybody like, oh, you guys, I'm too sober for this.
You never found that one person that smoked too? Like, you try to look in the crowd and be like, oh, okay, maybe you gang too.
Who's going on a walk with me?
Hey.
It's like the very first Thanksgiving you go home and you realize one of your other cousins wants to go on the walk.
Exactly,
like, you hit a next level.
Hey, welcome to the club. Hell yeah. Oh, this is dope, yo. Okay, so I got a couple other questions. So I know like I said, we talked about a couple things earlier. So I wanted to talk more about you being in entertainment and whatnot. So I know you said you started out early, like when you were a kid, really, right?
Yeah. I started dancing and acting and doing anything that was performance-based once I was a kid. My uncle heard my voice on my parents' answering machine, just, hey, you've reached us, here's our phone number, and he thought it was cute, so he put me in a couple commercials.
Oh, that's dope.
So I did like a commercial for McDonald's when I was like 5 or 6. I think it was like something about McDonald's knows to keep the earth healthy, or something about the earth, I don't remember, but when I got into college and ended up applying for a job in radio, they asked if I had any experience. I'm like, well, I've done voiceovers and commercials before. And they were like, all right, great. Come on in. You got the job. So I was like,
dope.
Oh, that worked out. But it's, the childhood that I'd done that kind of voice stuff. I think it was in the cards for me somewhere.
Hell yeah.
I just always liked making people happy, whether they're laughing or shocked, surprised. I've always enjoyed that. So when I got into radio and just found a way to do it, I was like, this is great.
What made you choose radio?
Radio chose me, I think.
Okay.
Actually, I got that job in radio, like I said, and that was in Warrensburg, Missouri. I was going to Central Missouri State. I went there for a year. I worked at KWKJ, the J98.5, a local radio station. And then I decided I wanted to go home to Webster, come back to St. Louis, get my degree in film or I think I wanted to do documentary films, which is funny. I like all these lights and the cameras. I'm like, oh, it used to be so fun to set all that kind of stuff up. I used to love it. But I came home to Webster, and I was like working as a receptionist at a hair salon just to make extra money on the side. And I put on my MySpace bulletin, like just looking for a job. I really hate my part-time job. Who has a job? And I had met the marketing director or the promotions coordinator for The Point at a concert. And so he had said, hey, didn't you say you worked in radio before? Send me your resume. So I did. I went in for the interview a couple weeks later. Said, oh, we have a job. It's in promotions. It's like 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe $8.50 an hour. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And after a couple weeks there, the boss said, hey, I heard you were on air at your other station. I said, yeah. And he said, do you want to be on the air here? And I said, yep. And then that was July of 2007, a couple months in, and I just been on the air ever since. Once I found something that I felt good about and I felt like I was good at and I could do well, then I just love to do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that I look back on it, I worked at Hollister from my senior year of high school to my sophomore year of college, and I was pretty darn good at that too. If you give me anything, I'm going to be the best darn gene folder you ever had. I'll stay till 2 a.m. to make sure we have the inventory done. But I just once I feel like I'm feeling good, and that's what I feel about the cannabis community is it makes me feel so good to be around. So as much as I loved entertaining, I thought to myself, maybe I can take this in another direction and point some of it into cannabis education and, again, just breaking down the stigma. I think there's just a lot that still needs to be done, sadly.
Hell yeah, for sure. I feel like the work will never be done.
Never be done. Yeah. Do you smoke CBD cigarettes? Would you like a CBD? Do you do CBD at all? Mm-hmm. I just got into these. It's a Bubble Kush. It's a CBD. Yep, they're great. I got some of these Lady J's. Have you seen these?
No.
I did. This is one of my first events as a cannabis influencer. I got to work with a really awesome hemp rolling company, and they gave us these Lady J's CBD cigarettes, and I love them. They're so calming. They're so great. And if anybody ever has considered quitting smoking but still needs this, it's all CBD. No tobacco in here.
That's what's up.
You want one back there?
I'll try one.
Yeah, I was going to say. He's been participating in, what is it, Dry January? What is it?
I think so, yeah. I did break for New Year's, but that wasn't much anyways. I just picked up the wrong drink for
I heard there was a really fun New Year's bud tenders thing that was supposed to go down, and then did it get canceled or pushed back or moved? Can I go to it now?
I don't know.
Still happening?
I was at Ballpark.
I was at Ballpark.
I did see that you were hosting.
I was there.
Yeah. It was lit.
They called me the day beforehand.
Really?
Yeah. They messaged me and said, hey, our host is can't do it tomorrow. What do you got going on? I was like, what do you got going on? I'll come down and host Walmart Village. Why not? I love those guys. So much fun. I was like, thank you for thinking of me.
Hell yeah.
I'm out here freelancing. I just want experiences that are enjoyable. I really just want to live a positive and happy life. So that means moving on to things like cannabis that make me happy, and then doing random stuff like being on podcasts or hosting events. It's just anything that I can enjoy. Because, living life day to day, that's literally all you can do. Is just pick a couple good things, something you like during the day, and do it.
So speaking of your passions, I see soccer is one of them.
I love soccer. I love soccer so much. I play indoor. I've been playing indoor, oh my gosh, probably 9 years now over at Veta.
Okay.
I know, I'm getting too old for it. You guys, I turned 39 this month, which is just, my body's going, girl, stop with the running. My knees are stop. It's so much fun to play. And then last year, the Ambush invited me to come and announce one of the games as the public address announcer. And I went and I fell in love with it. I stayed. I just loved it and said, you can't get rid of me. I'm here now. So I get to do that. And then I saved all of my pennies. I've never been a season ticket holder for anything. I saved them and then I spent them all on City SC tickets so I could be a season ticket holder. I'm so excited. I'm broke, but I'm happy.
Have you gone to any of the games yet?
I was out of town during the first game.
Damn.
I know, which is such a bummer. But I also feel like, well, I'm going to get the true experience. I'm going in on the very first day. It wasn't this will be the first day with the team.
Yeah, there you go.
March 4th, I believe. February, I think we have an away game. But March 4th, I think, is the first game. I got a hotel room for it because I live so far out in the county that when I'm going to come down for it, I'm like, as well stay downtown in St. Louis if you can.
Oh, yeah, because that's definitely going to be a party night for real. Mm-hmm. City's going to be lit. City's going to be lit for real that night.
I'm so excited for us to have a soccer team because I've loved soccer forever. And, to now have a professional team for a sport that I love.
Yeah.
I really enjoy hockey a lot. I really do. And I do enjoy baseball, but they're neither sports that I played or that I loved. But, like, my whole family, like, all of us played soccer at one point. I feel like maybe it's a St. Louis experience, but it's a lot of kids' first sport because they actually won't let you do T-ball till you're, like, old enough where if the ball hit you in the head, you wouldn't, it wouldn't, like, dent you. You're not playing that in kindergarten. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, kindergarten, they're like, you can kick a ball. And, like, first grade, they're like, oh, okay, let's get you a T-ball. Let's get you one of those plastic ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited about that.
I think my first sport was basketball. Yeah. Basketball's always been my first love. But, like, with soccer, though, I started not recently. It was, like, right after high school because I had a cousin that played. She played for SIUE.
Yeah.
So I really became a fan of soccer with that. Like, I think it's dope. I think if I had to play soccer, I would be defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a hard sport. It's so cool. It's such a hard sport. It's so cool. Both indoor and outdoor is so difficult and so different. That's the other thing, too, is learning the difference. Mm-hmm. Indoor, we have penalties like in hockey. So there's like penalty kills where you have like one less player and somebody's like sitting in a box, which is very strange. It's not unlikely for a game to have 10-7 be the score, whereas outdoor, if you get 3-0, that could be kind of wild. So it's just really fun to finally have like year-round soccer here too.
That's true.
And for a lot of people, they didn't know that the ambush was out there for doing it.
I didn't know about the ambush for a minute now.
Yeah, I mean, we came back. They were gone for a little bit. Came back in 2014, and then of course we had the pandemic for 2019, 2020. So there's years off again. So it's just letting people know that we're back out there is so great, and it's just exciting to have something to do in the winter. Man, there's not a lot to do indoor wise, you know what I mean? Like we've got the really cool skate parks and stuff you can do outside, like ice skating and stuff, but taking your kids to a soccer game, they can just run out all the energy they want.
Hell yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for sure. I kind of want to, I used to do a adult kickball league. I wouldn't mind doing soccer now, like a beer league.
Yes. So I actually convinced at least 7 or 8 of the ambush players and their girlfriends to do kickball this year at Tower Grove Park. We called ourselves the Bombshells because that's the name of our cheerleaders for the ambush. They're Bombshells. We wanted to like throw back at them because they're awesome. Let me just tell you, I don't think we were very popular because they were just
I was gonna say, that's not fair.
They, 2 popped balls, like just kicked right through these things. I had never seen anything like it. Yep, just 2. One of our players kicked it so far that it went into like the street area, and a woman was riding her bike and she didn't see it. So then she ran over the ball and flipped off her bike.
Shit!
She's okay. I wouldn't tell the story this flippantly if she was not okay, but she's okay. Like the fact that all of us were like, "Hey!" Like, and she saw it bouncing. I don't know why she didn't move. Whatever. She fell off her bike. You know what I mean?
I guess she thought she could outbeat the ball.
No, it was truly an incredible, and a lot of the players from the ambush are not from the United States, so kickball's not their first, second, third, or ever have heard of it sport. So it was so fun for like my friend Will Nyamsi, because he's from France, so he's never played before. So getting him out there, and he kicks it and his shoe flies off, so then he's doing it barefoot. And he like dodges the ball by like rolling on the ground in some Matrix level shit. It's just incredible. We slowed it down and the ball just whizzes over him and people are like, oh, and we're like,
Athlete, yeah.
Sorry, that's just what happens. We got Robbie from Croatia just blasting it to nowhere. He's like a Hall of Famer from SLU for soccer. So it's just, I don't know that Tower Grove wants us back. And you know what the truth is? We didn't play. I think the Sunday league in Tower Grove is intense. There's like 50 teams and it's the entire length of Tower Grove. And then on Saturday, there's like 12 teams, maybe 8 teams, and we just play each other over it. So we were like in this lower league where it's like 8 teams, and these people are like, we're just here for like rec league. Sunday is like the intense stuff, and we're here like ready to go with our matching shirts and everything.
Yeah, I just gotta sign up for Sundays this year. That's all.
Yeah, you got to sign. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll switch to Sundays. Most of them coach on Sundays, so it's tough. But I'll see if we can make it. You know what? They better do it for kickball. The dedication to the Bombshells. I need to see.
Yeah. Shit, I need to make like a competitive league on Saturdays, yo.
You know what I'm curious about as cannabis continues rolling into legalization, because it's not going to stop with Missouri. Biden's already been talking some stuff. I'm like, come on, Bob Biden, do us right. Mm-hmm. But as it opens up, I'm going to be interested to see how many more athletes come out and say that it's a part of their routine. We obviously have seen there's history of the skier who won the Olympics and had it taken away, his like gold medal taken away, and then give it back to him for cannabis. We've obviously seen what happened to Sha'Carri Richardson and her not being able to compete, which is such a bummer. But then we've had studies. There's like was it 60 for 60? Is that the sport? They have like one of those back on cannabis and how it can like wrap your brain in like a type of bubble wrap. So if you do get hit in the head, say you play football, it protects your brain from smashing up against each other. So we have these studies that are like, what can we do with CBD? What can we do? Like, I'm just interested to see how many more people the NFL stopped testing for it. And, a lot of teams, MLB stopped testing for it a couple of years back. I'll be curious to see how many people say it's a part of like their recovery. So instead of after a really hard game where they've done something, maybe they lost the game by a goal or it's their point, instead of going home and drinking their livers to death, maybe they go home and take an edible and watch a movie. Like, I'm interested.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I know the NBA, they started, I don't think they do drug testing anymore.
No.
Yeah, for cannabis, yeah.
That's so great. And I really hope we start to see more responsible use shown, because I feel like the only use that has been shown up until now has been the stereotype of the stoner and the pothead. And like, yeah, that exists somewhere. I'm sure it does. All stereotypes exist in some matter of speaking, but in reality, if you really saw the people coming home from their work and instead of having a glass of wine, like popping a gummy and getting into the bath and like relaxing, and you're like, oh, so that's the face of a cannabis user? And you're like, yeah, and she's a high-powered lawyer too. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Paying all her taxes, and she picked up her kids and took her to brownies. Like, moms are out here multitasking, doing everything while stepping into the garage to have a smoke so that they can tolerate frozen for the millionth time, and not just tolerate it, but be excited, be genuinely present with their kid for the moment, be able to sing, do you want to build a snowman? Like, not just sit there and go, oh my God, yeah, it is cute, Like, that's the kind, that's probably the parenting that we grew up with. No shade to our parents, but they were not allowed that option, you know what I mean? And they couldn't have a drink at 11 a.m. or that would be looked down on. So they just had to sit next to us and watch Sesame Street for the 80th time. And like,
for real.
I want to see more responsible use shown to people, because
that's a fact.
It's not what people think it is.
Yeah. I agree with you, because like you were saying, like everybody's cool with, the mom drinking the wine or something like that. And that's just like a regular staple. Why can't it be like the mom smoking a joint,
It should be. Yeah. It really should be. And I mean, as we're seeing studies come out of Colorado, the lack of driving mayhem, we thought people were like, oh, we're going to see crashes and it's just going to go up and people are going to be driving high and it's crazy. And we haven't seen any of that at all. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what are we worried about? We're seeing these things play out. But of course, evolution is so slow.
Hell yeah.
But it is nice to be at the forefront. And I got to say, I'm impressed. This is your third year doing the podcast, which means you have been officially out of the cannabis closet for 3 years, which is not an easy thing to do. It's still not an easy thing to do for me. And I boldly went on NPR and was like, I'm going to do medical cannabis. You know what I mean? But it's still not easy, because there are people who will still look at you. But you did it before, so mad props for that.
Oh, thank you.
I know a lot of people are going to come out now that it's rec use, and we want them to. Don't not come out. Come on out of the closet. Don't come out. But like, also, it's recognize that it's hard for people to like before we got to this point where we could be open about it.
I'm gonna say, Lux ain't saying it, but I'm gonna say it. She said, "Put some respect on our names, motherfuckers."
We need those buttons. I can do that.
Actually, hold on. No. Where's it at? Hold on. Pew pew pew. Yo, shout out Brian.
I was gonna say, it sounds like T over there.
That's hilarious, yo.
I also I think people just need to see more of this, people just consuming and what it's like.
Hell yeah.
To see that I can just continuously smoke this and still talk the same as I do. I look the same as I do. It's not, I think that's a lot of it, is people just haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. Although, I've been watching this show, excuse me because I don't know the network. It's called Bob Hart's Abishola. I want to say, look it up. I want to say it's like a CBS or an ABC. It's now on HBO Max. And the show, it's just a cute sitcom about a man who falls in love with his nurse. But the two siblings, smoke cannabis pretty regularly. And sometimes they're just, smoking their bong. And I'm like, these are two respected humans. They're they've got a job. You would respect them as you would any other character on the show. Yeah. And I love it. It's the first time I've seen it. Do you look it up?
Oh yeah, it's a Chuck Lorre show.
Yeah, right. He does like
My Name is Earl.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's fantastic. I've been to the second season. It's really great. But like the sibling characters, like regularly smoke. They talk about smoking, but yet they still go to their jobs. Nobody looks at them sideways. Like there's no stoner culture around them, but they're just they'll be sitting there toking up. It's great. Highly suggest the show. Also, really cute. The culture difference between the cute old white man falling in love with the young Nigerian nurse.
You're making me think of some things right now, Lux. For real, for real.
Like
we might have to talk behind the scenes.
All right.
Honestly, you made me kind of just think of something.
Like do you guys ever watch the Vice channel? They used to have it
every now and then. Yeah.
They used to have commercials where they would show people who had high-powered jobs, maybe a magazine editor, and it would be a short 60-second spot on her using cannabis or her mom. And I used to think this is the most brilliant thing. People just need to see other people doing it, because the amount of people who have broken down or just asked or been able to hear a story. Okay, so my dad deals with seizures. He was having his memory loss, and the cannabis has stopped the seizures. So I can tell them that. I can say that my mom has RA, and so she suffers from this great pain, but cannabis can keep her moving when she can't. It's just being able to hear that, and then they go, oh, okay. And then maybe they tell somebody else, or they see somebody else, or they see it represented somewhere. We just need to representation. You know what I mean?
1,000% agree.
We just need to see more people doing it.
For real.
And again, in a responsible manner, of course. I think that's important too, because we've just had so much of the stigma. And not that I don't get home and giggle my ass off and watch a stoner comedy, because I do.
Hell yeah.
I absolutely will. But, I think it's important to show that it can be used the same way if you have a beer at the end of the day or you're having a glass of wine.
Yeah. So do you do concentrates at all?
I do. Hey. I like to dab. I don't think there's a consumption method I don't like. Honestly, I think I like it all. Although I have not tried the suppositories from Suede, but I'm not against it, because they do say that if you're looking to medicate, you should medicate in the manner in which you're using. So if you have stomach pains, eating an edible, because it goes directly to your stomach. Or if your throat actually hurts, believe it or not, you're supposed to smoke, weirdly enough, but it does go directly there. So the idea of being able to deal with like endometriosis pain or any kind of cramping or that kind of thing, and being able to take care of that. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
There are women who like literally cannot walk or go to work when they have these pains. If they could take that, lay down for 30 and get up and do the rest of their day. Woo,
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, we just want to get back to our lives.
Seriously,
though.
That is dope.
Isn't that just like, and that's what's so great about this product. It's also so great that like, it just happens to be recreational too. Like, how nice is it that you just could giggle or, smile at somebody. My patience is so much longer. I'm so much nicer. I'm definitely more relaxed all the time when I'm consuming. I'm like, that's not a bad thing. I don't think I've ever seen anybody rage out on cannabis, and I've been using for, like I said, I'm 39, so it's been a few years since I was 19 or 18. But I've never seen anybody, and that was again being in Amsterdam, seeing nobody rage out, seeing people just relaxing and hanging out and being so chill. I'm like, every bar, every restaurant's like this. It's crazy.
That's tight as fuck.
Highly suggest. And I felt like it was a bummer that I had to go all sorts of places to like experience cannabis culture, but I'm so glad like it's here in St. Louis. Yeah. We finally have it.
That's hard, Joe.
Yeah.
You got a pretty interesting life though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just out here trying to live, man. I like collecting experiences and doing strange, weird, odd things. So as many of those I can get involved in. Absolutely.
I'm kind of the same way. Like right now I got a regular job, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm putting it out there. Like hopefully by the end of this year, like I'm fully into like content creating and all that. Like that's really my goal right now.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, like that. I don't know.
We're gonna sit down the first one of the new year next year.
Hell yeah.
And you're gonna be like, well, I quit my job. And I'd be like, that's great. Like people look at me like I was crazy. Like, you're quitting radio? I'm like, look, I know. I have the coolest job ever. Yeah. I work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I get paid a full person salary. That's craziness. Yeah. But I also was like, man, I'm doing the same thing every single day. Exactly. And it's a great job, but it was the same thing, and I wanted to do something different and something that I loved. And this is something I love, being able to communicate why other people could love it too. Huge. Getting to entertain, just a benefit. And content creation is an addiction too. It's so fun.
So what are some of the things that you learned from radio that you feel like you'll be able to bring over to this new space?
Honestly, one of the things that I didn't realize would be a big deal in radio that turned out to be large was kind of like choosing products, clients, businesses, because everybody wants to advertise with the number one radio station in the city, and that's not me just like flattering them. 105.7 The Point is always in the top 3, if not the number one, just across the board, has been for years. So it's not like a hard sale for somebody. But for me, it's saying, no, I don't like that one, or yes, I like that one. Yeah. And for 15 years, doing a good enough job of choosing ones that benefited people or actually helped me in things that I use. So that gave me a little bit of credibility, I think, with people. So I want to be able to bring that to cannabis, that I would never talk about something I wouldn't use myself, wouldn't try myself, didn't already use myself, that kind of thing. And also just being able to pool from the resources, having a lot of people willing to say, hey, try mine, try this, check this out. Whereas if you're a normal consumer, people are not throwing that at you. And because it's FCC regulated, you're not seeing commercials on TV, you're not hearing them on the radio. You might be seeing them in the RFT or something like that. If people are reading print media, they might see it. Otherwise, there's nowhere else for you to get this information but social media and the internet. Yeah. So for people like you and I to be able to bring that to people so that they can make the choice. Because I could tell you, well, I love Suede, I love High Profile, I love, these are all great places that I've been to. Here's these 5-6 places. And then you can go online and choose which one you like. You know what I mean? But that's out of hundreds of places. You know what I mean? And that narrows it down. And those are people who know me and might believe me or are friends with me or feel close to me through the radio or social media. Hopefully I can help them find what they like.
Hell yeah.
I liked doing that in radio. I feel like it's a connection job. You're just connecting people, whether it's a fan to a new band or a concert or an event or a charity they want to be involved with. And I just want to keep connecting people. And that's the same in this industry. Like what you're doing with this podcast, I don't know if you know, but I'm a part of a nonprofit called We Are Jane.
Yes.
It is
Shout
women.
out to MEP.
I love it so much. I really love being a part of this women's community. They're so supportive. They have been so wonderful in helping me meet people and network, and honestly just supporting me in the whole move over on all forms. Really proud to be a part of that, and I want to see that kind of stuff grow as well. So
hell yeah.
But it's all community based. It's getting more women involved and then helping lift them up, and not just women, but making sure that all the marginalized communities that should be on step one, who are not already on step one because we know where we are, get to where they need to go. You know what I mean? It's making sure, and that's another part of We Are Jane that isn't just women oriented, which I think is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you know the folks over there?
Yeah, Tammy P. That's one of the homies. Yo.
Aren't they so?
She's one of my favorites.
Aww.
I feel like when I first started getting into all of this, she definitely helped bring me into the corporate space. Like she's a major factor in all of this. Like for real. Yeah.
That's the community though. That's every single person I met is like, oh, is there somebody else I could introduce you to this person? I think you'd really like them, and that's how I work too. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. I feel like this is just a space for me.
Yeah, I feel like in the cannabis community, that's like key right now. Everybody's just trying to connect everyone. Somebody who knows somebody that can do something different. It's like, oh yeah, I know that person. Let me link you with this person. Like, it's so dope. I love it. I feel like, honestly, it's like that too because this is the beginning of the industry. Like, we're the pioneers of, so that's one thing I learned through this podcast was about 100 years back, there was a whole cannabis industry. But, it got shut down because of all the laws and all that. But now we're kind of bringing it back, and now we're like the pioneers of the new industry. The trailblazers right now.
Like, that's exciting to me.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I chose to stay in St. Louis. Like, I feel like, I'm sure you got this pressure.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm getting out of here. In St. Louis, I'm getting out of here. I'm moving somewhere. I'm going to go to a big city or whatever. Cool. Great. Go. 100%. Please. But for those of us who live here and continue, we recognize that St. Louis is such a small, big, connected city. What high school you go to, all of that plays into it, positive or negative. But it allows us to affect change on such a scale that you really couldn't necessarily if you went to a big city, being from St. Louis, not having the connects, without having money and connects. But in a city like St. Louis, you don't necessarily have to have the money or connects. You can make that kind of thing happen because we're so connected. So you can actually make a very large difference. So to be at the beginning of something in a city in a state like this, it's like, oh man, we can really do something here.
Hell yeah.
Like just start right in. That's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's like, I feel like one of the things that I feel like people from St. Louis that we tend to do is when we do get big, we leave. And because we feel like St. Louis can only carry us so far, but it's like, if the people who are actually great actually stayed here, imagine we could be like a New York or a LA or something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, look at if you look at the roster of people who come out of St. Louis, it's one of my favorite things is when somebody's not from here. And I'm like, oh yeah, you like The Office? Jenna Fisher, these two, all three of them. 3 characters from The Office are all St. Louis. Or we're talking sports. And I'm like, oh, well, do you like this? Do you like that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cardinal State Busch Stadium. Like, it's just, we have so many people. And a lot of them used to stay here. Like, I remember thinking it was crazy that Matt Halliday would stay here in the off season. But he would stay here because it's inexpensive to live here. He could have a really big house. He has a great place to raise his family. So he would always, I think he was in like the Creve Coeur kind of Ladue-ish area.
Yeah.
Because you'd always see him out at the ice cream shops out there, like the little froyo places. I feel like I'd always see him out there. But he'd live here because it's inexpensive. You can actually do what you want here. And I think there's a whole class of people like us who stayed here who are going to change it. And I love it. I'm here for it.
Yo, you just brought memories back with the froyo, yo.
Pre-COVID, I have not been to one of those Scoopy Scoops because I know that it's not on the chunks of Oreo. But I just also don't know what germs. You guys, they made me so aware of all the germs that I hadn't even thought about. That's what
Especially
the pandemic
buffets.
did. Oh, you ruined Ryan's Country Buffet for me. Ryan's.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm ratchet at heart, so COVID did bother me, but at the same time too, I was like, man, I'm gonna build immunity. I'm just gonna keep going.
It made me paranoid. I was like, no, there are germs everywhere. I had been a eat that off the ground girl before that. Changed my
Golden Corral.
Yeah, that had changed. Oh, I love Golden Corral. Ruined it for me. Do you guys have favorite? This is totally off topic, but I was thinking about how when I do consume in a recreational manner, I do love to watch stoner movies. Do you guys have a favorite stoner movie?
Oh yes, Sausage Party.
Oh my God, I own that movie.
I do too. It's amazing, yo.
Nowadays, because there's so many streaming services, you only own movies you love. Yep. I own that movie. Yep. Seth Rogen is one of my ultimate favorites. So pretty much anything that he's in, whether it's Pineapple Express or This Is the End, I absolutely love it. They're so good.
Are you into any of his cannabis merch?
Yeah, if I can
afford
any of it. He has a really cool standing ashtray that's it would be perfect for the side of couches. It's
I know exactly which one.
$3,000. I'm like, yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm a broke boy. You know what I'm saying?
You wrote these stoner comedies about these poor people who smoke weed. Where do we fit into your merch scheme, man? But I do appreciate he's working towards Alzheimer's, and I love that. He does that charity for Alzheimer's, so I love that about him, too. Yeah. Have you guys seen the stoner comedy Smiley Face?
No.
Okay, that's on your calendars to do. It is Anna Faris. It's absolutely incredible. She starts out the movie, and she's high. So she goes to her refrigerator and decides to eat her roommate's cupcakes. Little does she know they are all laced, and she is entirely too high, and then continues to just have the craziest day of her life. And she's truly a comedic genius for it.
That sounds lit.
Yeah, it's definitely before she got famous. There's a lot of other famous people in it, too. The cast is really deep.
I love movies like that.
But it's so weird. Who else is John Krasinski?
Adam Brody.
Yeah. Adam Brody.
Jane Lynch.
Yes. It's such a good movie.
See, I love movies like that where it's at the beginning before anybody's famous, and then you go back and look at it and you're like, oh shit, look at all these people that came from this one movie.
Yes. Adam Brody's the dealer and he's got dreads. It's what? Why? So good. What about you, T?
Probably Harold and Kumar.
Oh, classic.
That or The Room is always a hit classic. What, have you never been to the Tivoli at midnight when they did the screens for it?
It's terrifying.
You know another good one? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
at
fantastic.
the Tivoli.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen that at Tivoli?
No, I've always wanted to do one of those midnight showings. They look so good.
You gotta do it.
And that's such a St. Louis thing. Yeah. I mean, when I left radio, I knew I was going to leave at some point. I didn't know when. I actually thought that they'd make me leave because that's what all radio people think. We all think eventually somebody's going to fire us because a lot of people do get fired. It happens. So I was like, oh man, something's going to fire me. I can't be at Lux on radio on socials because socials will be forever.
Right.
So I changed to Lux St. Lou, and people are like, well, that's going to pigeonhole you to St. Louis. I'm like, I love my city, and I'll proudly rep this like Nelly does until forever. Like, I will go down. But, like, that is such a St. Louis thing. The Tivoli, like, Halloween time, Rocky Horror. I can't believe I haven't done it. Like, I need to make a checklist. Honestly, I should ask the bucket list people, the folks over at STL Bucket List, to make me an actual bucket list. Actually, do they have one, a running list?
I think they do.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah. I want them on the show.
Oh, such nice people, too.
Yeah.
Also, just anybody who's putting into the St. Louis community, the more we all lift each other up, and it's just great. And to see them highlighting so many great places just always makes me so happy. Plus, it also lets me know what's going on.
Hell yeah, for real, though.
Now that I'm not on the radio, I don't get as many press releases as I used to, which is fine because they were literally flying in all the time, and some of them were not necessarily for me or anyone.
So that's one of the other things. So, like, now that you're not having to full-time be on there, so what's it like having to not have to worry about what's going on in the world as much?
It's weird.
Really?
Yes, but also wonderful because if I really want to, I can use my voice.
Yeah.
Which is something that in commercial radio I wasn't really encouraged to do, especially as things came down to more partisan-ish issues. I see them as humanity issues, but some people feel differently. So it's nice in one way because I'm not forced to pay attention to like every like major thing. So like when the Queen passed, I literally did not have to spend 2 days talking about her, which is great because colonialism and everything.
Word up.
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care. Because, like, that's something you'd have to do if you were on the radio. You'd have to, like, care about stuff that you don't, like, oh, like, this person's cheating on this person or whatever, that kind of thing. But also, when it came down to important issues, I was not able to talk about them.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to finally speak my piece when it comes to things that are important, and cannabis obviously being one of them. But I protested a lot for Black Lives Matter the summer that George Floyd was taken from this world, and that wasn't necessarily popular because it separated people.
Right.
I don't understand the separation because it's, again, human, but people do separate, and so that, you know, I can say whatever I want, which is great.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm happy about that. And it's sad because I had the biggest microphone in the city and I couldn't use it for that. So I gave it up, and I figured there's other microphones, even the small, tiny, mini ones that you use for Instagram. They're out there and people will listen, you know.
But honestly, I got mad respect for you for that because that really means you're passionate and you really do, like, care about this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's and that was one of the things that I was like, I need to do this before, or I wanted to do it before cannabis became recreational, because I wanted to show that I really am committed to it, and I do believe that it deserves to be free.
Yeah, that's a
regardless,
fact.
and that it's So, thank you. That's the goal.
Definitely, because like I said, like honestly, at one point I wanted to do radio, but then I kind of realized like kind of how I really want to do this. It probably just wouldn't even be right to try to get into radio. I felt like I probably would have got fired.
And you know, it's nice because I feel that everybody needs a safe space to just enjoy. So for somebody to just be able to get off their shift at work and tune in and hear the songs they love and a couple of jokes, I want people to be able to have that space. I just couldn't be the person providing that space anymore. And it was one of those things where I don't think people normally take the initiative to leave before they should. They don't know when to leave the party. And I thought to myself, am I done doing this? No. Could I continue to do it? Yes. Am I still successful at it? Yes. Am I still making money for the company? They all seem pretty happy with me. Great. Yes. Does it make me happy anymore? No. Am I going to be doing as good of a job? No. Is it somebody else's turn? Also, yes. Like sometimes it's just time to leave the party and leave it for somebody else. And since I couldn't keep my mouth shut on issues that really didn't have any belonging in that space, you know, it was nice to be able to take it to another space and then allow somebody else to step in who can give them the relief. Yeah. Because they need relief. People need it. I just couldn't provide it because my brain was like, oh my God, you know how many people are dying from COVID? Like, we got to talk about these masks, folks. And like my grandma died 2 months into the pandemic. She was one of the first people from St. Louis. So thank you. So like I had the most horrific experience with it. You can't even have like a funeral with more than 10 people. It was 20 minutes. You didn't get to go to the grave site. So I've never seen her grave site. It's like one of these, nobody got to be with her for 2 months. It was just really awful. Yeah. And trying to explain that to people, and people were like, ha ha ha, no, it's not real. We don't want to do this. And I was like, oh. And then on the radio I'd be like, hey guys, at the very end of the show, please consider maybe just trying to possibly wear a mask. And like, because I was totally afraid that somebody would email into my boss and be like, that girl's pushing her agenda. And I'm like, no, I just really feel like you should keep your spittle to yourself because we have no idea what's going on right now. Like, there was a large period where we were washing our groceries. We had no idea. All we knew is that it would reduce the spit. Like that. And if it's the minimum we could do it. You know what I mean? And we're so much farther past that. But like, that was the kind of stuff that was dividing us back then.
Yo, I'm dying. I'm using that from here on out. Spit hole, yo.
Like the little spittles.
That's the new name.
Just popping out of your mouth. Like, just keep it to yourself. It's so crazy. But again, I think of it as just a human thing. They think of it as a split thing. And I'm like, well, that's fine because you guys need a relaxing space where you can just hear your Nirvana and stuff. And the gal who's doing it now is great. So they're in good hands. And I can freely speak my mind in places that are not advertiser reliant. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because radio's free because of the wonderful advertisers. So they do need them. Spinning the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the one thing that I'm kind of like trying to decide when it comes to advertisers. I kind of like the fact that we just kind of go in and out, we do our thing. But at the same time, too, like, you know.
That's how that's how the free radio works. Like when I hear podcasts, like it's so funny. As a radio DJ, one of the things I taught or was taught in school was how to do a live read, which is essentially an endorsement, a 60-second commercial for something. Hey guys, I really love this pillow. It's the best pillow I've ever had. It's amazing. I sleep so well because of this, that, and the other thing, that kind of thing. So I hear people doing them on podcasts. You know, they're like, this podcast is sponsored by Bomba Socks, and then they're like, hey guys, socks are great. And it's like it sounds so funny because like in radio we were taught how to do these, but these are people who are not trained in this. Exactly. So they're just out there like, hey, these are socks and you can get them for a discount, but you're like, at least the socks are paying for this because now I get this for free. So, but also I'd buy those socks. I'm totally influenced by stuff. So maybe you guys should have some advertisement on here. I'd be buying the stuff.
Maybe. I mean, well,
I buy everything off Instagram now, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or Facebook.
I mean, this isn't
usually
an
takes
ad.
me to Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't an ad, but I mean, we did get some free. Hey, yo, shout out Steve, 1912.
These are really nice.
Yeah.
I'm picky. Radio DJs, we're picky. These are nice.
I know. And shout out to the Rex Sound, yo. For the exclusive, we also got the yellow and purple, two terp colors.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
There's like a red inside. They like red bottoms, but like on the inside.
That's right. Because we got that fancy shit over here, yo.
Got the velvet ears.
Yeah, these are so fire, yo. I'm really happy about these, too. Like, these are amazing. Shout out to y'all for these. These are fire. Y'all make sure y'all get some of these, too. Quality. Direct Sound. Yeah. Make sure y'all follow them. You can find them on directsound.com, I believe. Yeah. All right, yeah.
That was a good ad read.
There you go. See, like, man,
Ooh,
noise cancellation, so good.
Nah, for real though, I can't hear shit outside of these.
Yeah, I was about to say, you gotta take those on the plane.
Yeah, for real though. It's like usually you can hear like the cars and all that in the background.
No,
I couldn't hear none of that today.
That's great.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact: the person who made these actually was the one who created noise cancellation. Oh yeah, you're right. Whoa, shit! Hold on. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for real though, patented and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I met the woman from. You guys tried the pearls from Gron? They're pearls. They're little edibles. Going back to cannabis from Gron, they are so chewy in a specific way. And I do remember. I feel like the owner, who's a brilliant woman, was telling me that they're like made by the same people who make like the very famous gummy bears, like the.
Oh, I know which one is.
Not Harborough, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Haribo,
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 yeah.
whatever. Yeah, and I was like, why are your gummies so like chewy? They're like really good. And she was like, we have the same maker as, and it's Haribo. I think it's Haribo.
Haribo, yeah.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong, but also look up Gron because those pearls are delicious.
I think you're right.
Non-sponsored, but they are delicious.
That's fire, yo. I'm going to check those out.
I mean, like, are there other, like, strains? Are there other things at the stores that you've been liking? Anything you've been, like, vibing? You going to give out free shout-outs to anybody?
The triplets.
Usually.
Who doesn't love some old Vienna red hot riblets?
Yeah. Usually I be shouting out the
314 day.
Gromies.
It's coming around again.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I be shouting out the Gromies usually. As a matter of fact, I really need to do that. Shout out again, Smelly Gouda, for providing us with the flower today.
It's delightful, by the way.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the homie Mr. Living Soil. Shit. Shout out to Bill 420. Definitely fire. Shit. Who else have I been fucking with lately? I said Steve, 1912 Botanicals. Shout out Prince K. Lee. Shout out, Terps for the Soul. Yeah, there's a bunch of shout outs that I need to do. Like,
I would shout out Canvacate.
oh yeah, shout out Doug, yo.
Because Doug Hall's the one who hooked us up.
Hell yeah.
Doug and I go way back to the club days.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
When he worked in the
That's
nightclubs.
I got hella questions for you. Like, Doug is kind of like the Ari around here. Have you seen Entourage?
He absolutely is. He is so smart and he knows so much and he just inhales knowledge. And I'm just always trying to wring him out. Like, just squeeze him. What do you know? How do I do this? Who do I talk to?
He's a pretty wet person, yeah.
He's wringing out all of his knowledge.
Oh, man.
He's the one who actually got us hooked up. So
yeah.
thanks to Doug.
Nah, for real, though. That's the homie, man. I love giving him shit, but that's the homie. Yeah.
And he's doing such great things. It was really exciting to be out at the Balloon Glow, which is such a St. Louis, it's a huge St. Louis event. But to see an entire village dedicated to cannabis is such a huge deal. And when I talked to him, I'm like, how did you make this work? Like, how did you go to the balloon people from St. Louis and be like, this huge historic event, let's drop in a bunch of cannabis brands? And they ended up sponsoring the handicapped area. So he goes in and, like, figures out ways, and it's just brilliant. I think he really is brilliant, and I hope that we do more of that kind of stuff with Lumiere's Sculpture Park, the After Dark event. Had a cannabis village there. It's
how'd you like doing that?
I loved it. I had such a great time. Really loved just talking to people about cannabis and answering questions if I could, pointing them to Leafly if I cannot, because you always have Leafly.com. You'll never not have Leafly. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
But just being able to lend my personal experience to anybody, because a lot of times it's not what strain or what thing, it's what does it do for you.
Exactly.
That helps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just being able to talk to that many people about cannabis, because you don't often get to sit around and we're all in the same place to do that one thing outside of this, obviously. But like, it's nice to be out at those villages and like talk to people at the booths and see what they're interested in. It's funny, there was a group of individuals who came up and they seemed to be around my parents' age, maybe a little bit younger, and I'm getting their names and information so I can get them some free product. And I said, oh, that's Chesterfield area. I went to school there, Parkway Central. And she goes, oh, my son went there. And I said, oh, my mom taught there. And my mom, like, taught her son.
Oh, shit.
And was like, my mom was a theater teacher, so, like, her son worked on plays. And I was like, this is so incredible. Also, this is cannabis. Like, we're having this conversation. And I probably would not have had that conversation with my mom's student's mom in some other realm. But here we are in 2022, and all things are possible.
Yeah, for real, though. Hey, weed brings everybody together, yo. I feel like it's the great equalizer. Like, once people actually smoke it, the conversations that are had are amazing.
I wanted to start a podcast, and I have a name for it, and I have a social media site for it. And it's called Weed Get Along, because I do believe that, honestly, if you'd smoke with people, we'd all get along. It doesn't matter who you'd smoke with. You would. In fact, you would.
That's hard.
Like, if you're chilling, I'm chilling. We're all vibing. I've never seen people rage out. I've seen people get sad. Like, sadness happens, but generally doesn't end up in, like, physical violence, which is what we're trying to avoid in social situations. If you want to cry, I say let your feelings out, actually. That's great. We have a whole lot of this country that has not been able to be in touch with their feelings or has been made to feel like they shouldn't for a long portion of their entire life. So, men, I'm very sorry. You've been told you couldn't emote. That was rude.
Yeah.
Let it out.
You gotta save that for the car ride home.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Look, come on, what you trying to do, Lux? Come on, man.
I saw that tear. He was like, "Me?" No, just playing.
I guess I had to pull it back in real quick.
It's amazing you can do that.
Talent, years of hard work, dedication. Yo, all right. But got another question for you.
Yeah.
Top 3 people that you would smoke with, dead or alive.
Ooh. Okay. Obviously, I gotta say Seth Rogen.
Okay.
So then I have to add my dad because my dad is the biggest Seth Rogen fan. So maybe my parents and Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Okay, because my dad loves all of his movies. He watches them on repeat. The Interview is probably playing right now. My mom will say they hate us because they ain't us. It's just so real. And he's just I would just love to have that Pineapple Express moment, I think, with my parents.
Tight.
Or the Obamas. I feel like Michelle and Barack would throw down.
Yeah. He get hella lit. I feel like Barack be chiefing all day.
I love them so much, and 100%.
Yeah. He definitely, I feel like he would roll I feel like, because he smokes cigs, I definitely feel like he would roll a Swisher.
Yeah. Which is great, because again, I can't. Yeah. So that's really helpful, and any of my friends who want to smoke with me.
Yeah, he seemed like
Seth is a pro, so that's why I'm choosing him. I literally just choose him because your rolling ability. Let me re-answer that question. I'm going to need Snoop's rolling guy. I'm going to need Lil Wayne's rolling guy, and
there
me.
You go.
It's just going to be us.
Now that's smart.
God, I would love. Have you ever smoked out of some sort of crazy designed joint before?
We did an apple, right? I think I did an apple. I'm trying to think. What else?
I always want to make a cross. I see people making these crazy things. I'm like, what? What do you even do with that?
Actually, that's what I want on. Somebody who does animals and all that shit.
Yes, we need a pro roller.
Yeah,
if I ever find one, I'm sending him directly to you.
Fire. Hell yeah.
We need to do that.
Hell yeah.
I wish I could roll in the first place. Now I feel like that could be a great job.
I was hoping that you did, because I wanted to do a joint rolling contest today, because I haven't done one in so long.
I'm terrible. I'm so bad. I don't even know how to use that thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody says that. I feel like this is easier to do than just rolling regularly.
Yeah, I think that's my dad's favorite method. He's an old school roller. I think that's a boomer. Maybe that's a boomer thing. He's going to hate that I said that.
Damn.
Cowboy rollers.
He's in his 70s. That's boomer officially. I'm lucky to claim millennial at this point. Y'all could technically toss me into Gen X at some point. It's awful.
Nah, you're still millennial.
Honestly, it's all the technology that keeps me millennial, I think.
If that's the case, then I'm out. I'm a boomer then.
No, says the man with all the technology in front of him in a podcast.
It's the easiest thing to work, yo.
That's what you said. I look at radio and I'm like, all these buttons? Okay, good. I know how to use these 3. Perfect.
I mean,
same.
I guess don't get it fucked up. Anything past this, I'm a little twisted.
He's like, I know. I set the rest of this up.
There's a reason there's a ton of gaff tape and Sharpies all over.
Well, I was gonna say, shit, lights, all that, man. That's for real. That's the shit. This the guy right here.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay. He be lying about that shit, man. It's the ultimate professional.
Dude, so humble. That's why he doesn't have social media.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people would follow him. It would blow up too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to be humble. He doesn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, for real though. He's got all the flexes. For real. Shit, talk a little bit about yourself.
Look at him, he's blushing.
That's just rosacea. I don't have much to brag about.
He's a comedian.
Comedy is so good.
Behind the scenes, legend.
I wouldn't say behind the scenes. Well, no, behind the scenes, yeah, but not a legend.
Who's the We've got the really famous stoner comedian. Why can I not think of his name? I went and saw him here in St. Louis. Oh God! And he does the podcast about movies that I love so much. Oh my God!
It's not the dude Max Payne, is it?
No,
it was
Doug.
Doug Benson.
Yes, Doug Benson.
I think I've heard.
He's a stoner comic, and he's great.
Yeah, he did the spoof on Super Size Me.
Really?
But it was
High Me.
Super High Me.
Oh, I've
And you
heard
got,
of
like,
that.
Super, yeah.
Okay.
If not another good, we should all just rewatch that again.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think that's been 10 years.
You should do a watch. You should watch and do a react to that. I would like to see.
Okay.
If you haven't
Because I've
seen it in a
never
long
seen
time.
Super High. I've seen Super Size Me though.
Yeah, honestly,
That movie's nuts.
it is nuts. It kind of made not a terrible, but also not a great point for McDonald's. First,
Yeah.
I was like, well, this man's losing weight. I'm just gonna eat fries every day. He got
Eating
super sick. I was
5,000
like,
calories and didn't expect anything bad to happen.
oh.
I mean, people do that every day still though.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why watching Doug consume that much cannabis was absolutely mind blowing.
He gained 4 pounds, and he's like, I don't know why. You see all the rappers behind him.
Yeah, I guess I kind of want to check that out though. We might have to recreate an episode of that. I don't know. That might have been like when we had HBG up in here. Like it was so cloudy in here, he had to like wipe
Oh
the
my
mic.
god!
Yeah, it was
Also, he was
crazy.
using the volcano. I
Ooh,
haven't
never-
used a volcano in years, and they are amazing. But he would have the entire bag full, and I'm like, that's for like multiple people over like a span of time. And he's just crushing it.
See, I've never even tried one of those before. Have you done a gravity bone?
Delightful, yes. And in fact, they had some really nice ones out at the BlazeCon event. We have such a cool like trade situation between all the companies, and they all seem to work so well together and partner together.
Hell yeah.
But they also had that. They had the ice luge bong that you could smoke out of. They had like a bunch of things going on at one of their parties that were so great.
Oh, I
forward
think
to
I
that.
remember that. It was like the pre-party.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
I look
Yeah.
forward to that kind of stuff recreationally. Like, obviously, we're not going to be able to have cannabis consumption in the same places as alcohol consumption, but I want more of these bars to pop up where we can have, because you can you can't sell it, but you can gift up to 3 ounces.
Hell
So
yeah.
you buy a ticket and then everybody gets to get gifted. You know what I mean? And you
Hell
can just
yeah.
consume while you're there. That's where we're going to see the usage of some of these cooler tools that like we probably wouldn't afford ourselves or wouldn't use all the time. Like, I mean, I could get a volcano, but I sit and smoke by myself all the time. Like, what good would that do me, honestly?
Yeah, I think I've used the one once that I have.
That's like the perfect
You got
situation for a
That one was
college
like
roommate
19.
of 6. Like, you guys are going to sit together and pass around. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
Yeah.
perfect sitch. Everyone throws in $30.
Yeah, you gotta bring that through.
Yeah, I'll see if it even works. It'll be underneath the pile of parking tickets I have somewhere.
Ah, damn. All right, never mind then. We'll get a new one then. I guess we'll throw it in the budget. Yeah, throw it as a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Just equipment. It's not about that. It's like, damn, yo, this is lit, yo.
Thanks.
This is
It's
fun.
weird being on this side of things. I'm so used to asking the questions that I almost like don't know how to sit back and answer them. But it's fun to try and be on this side of things.
How you think we did?
I think you're doing a great job.
Damn, thanks.
Questions, backup questions, all good.
I kind of like it to where it's like a conversation.
Yes. I interviewed Machine Gun Kelly
Oh shit.
the week before he won his MTV Movie Award for whatever, MTV Music Video Award, whatever it was that he wanted to win so bad, and then he became super popular, and then his music blew up, whatever it was. It was like the week before that, and he was, we start the interview out, and we're not live, but he and I are talking. I'm like, all right, we're going to go here in about a few minutes. Is there anything you need? And he's like, no, I'm fine. I see like Megan Kelly or Megan Fox, wasn't Megan Fox, but walking behind, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then he goes away and I'm like, oh, we got like 10 seconds, bro. Like the counter's going down. He like walks away and he comes back with a lit joint. And I'm like, I am on Facebook Live right now for the radio station. Am I supposed to keep going or not? Is this legal or not? And I was like, we're going with this. If they don't want me on, somebody will call the guy, like the digital guy who's running this, because I'm not running the live. I'm just doing the audio or whatever. But he was so great. The interview was so great. He stayed on way later than he was supposed to. I was the last interview of like an all day where he sits and does 15 minutes with this station. So I couldn't believe how nice he was after all of that. But again, the first thing he did was light up. And I was like, I know this is your last interview of the day. We'll get in, get out. He's like, no, girl, we got all the time. He was so great. Talked to me about astrology. The video's still up on the Points Facebook page. It's delightful. But it was the first time that I interviewed somebody who like legitimately pulled out a joint. And I was like, but also so jealous.
I was gonna say,
I was like,
you ain't asking for nothing after.
you know what I mean? Like, we weren't in the same place. We were digital. We had to do I was like, he was at his place. and I
Okay,
was-
now I get you saying.
yeah, it was very sad.
Yeah.
It would have been one of my goals. Like, I remember Donnie interviewing Cypress Hill.
Oh, shit.
And we're at Lollapalooza, and we finish, and he says, hey, can you take a photo? So I grab his phone and take a photo, and I look, and it's like 4:20, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, it's 4:20 right now. And they like look at each other and like, and I'm like, this is crazy, Cypress Hill. Like, there's some of those bands where I would have loved to have like a smoking experience with them. But interviewing in general is so fun and so exciting. But it's nice to try out being on the other side of it, I guess.
Yeah. Did you ever get to smoke with any of the people that like?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the bands smoke, but mostly after the shows and whatnot. Some people like real weird about it, and then majority of people just like, oh fuck it, let's just smoke. I remember being backstage at a Point Fest and like an entire band coming over and like joining the smoke circle, and me thinking like, I brought one joint, where the fuck did these guys come from? Like I think it was the band Bare Hands. I'm like, what are you guys all doing here? Like, do you play the trombone? Like, where did you like what even is this, but
that definitely sounds like a stoner if you play the trombone.
Honestly, I feel like I was on the used tour bus, and Burt McCracken, like, my friend had brought his weed, and they broke it out on the table, but then he, like, took all the weed and put it into his grinder and then put it away. And we were all like, damn. We got off the bus, and my friend was like, that's so cool. Burt stole my weed. I was like, hey, man, you got a positive outlook about it. That's great.
Shit.
Like,
Burt would have to run me my shit. What the
you know
fuck?
what I mean?
Nah, hell no.
But truth be told, I feel so bad for them. They're like driving across the country. They probably don't have access to it unless they like know somebody at the venue who can get it for them, and then it's probably crap whatever they get. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess you can have that. I suppose if it were me, I would have been like, oh hey, what's up there?
Yeah, for real though. Fuck that. Nah.
There's an etiquette to this. We all.
Yeah, tell them if they play some fire, they'll get some fire.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah, nah.
Like, Stained, Aaron Lewis. I mean, smoking with him is dope because he was 420s. He was like, what was it? High Times Man of the Year, like 2008 or 9. So it was like right after that. Mm-hmm. I remember because he'd been interviewed by Woody that year, and Woody mentioned it, and then got a giant Rice Krispie treat and had him sign it, and then like flung it out to the crowd at Point Fest. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. But also just like, I'm smoking with High Times Man of the Year.
That's
like
tight,
that
yo.
felt really cool. But those are people who are like all like openly smoking. Yeah. And I think we're just gonna see so much more of it now, and I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah.
Also with it recreational, they'll be able to just come in and get it, which is great too. Because I just feel like there's so many musicians, so many who perform high out of their mind, and it's like, they can't get it because they're driving over state lines. They're trying not to get federally ripped. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's nice that they'll be able to come into Missouri, and we're like, hey, adult use now. Come on through. Like, finally, you're safe here.
Yeah, come get some of that Missouri fire, yo.
Get in the Dollar General bag like the cookies opening.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Nah. We coming up proper now. Don't be doing us like that. Come on now.
Do you guys remember when Lil Wayne was in town with Blink-182?
Yeah.
And he was like smoking weed in the hotel room, and they were like, dude, your weed's just too loud. You got to open the windows. And he was like, what? And they're like, he's like, you're going to call the police? And they're like, no, we just want you to open your windows. He's like, you're calling the police? This is St. Louis. So he got in his tour van and took off. I was like,
shit.
The police were like, we were never called. They just wanted him to open his windows.
Dude, paranoid shit.
I was like, look, I could never knock a person for being terrified of the police in St. Louis. Never, especially black man. But like, I was like, sir, they just want you to open your windows. It's just the smell. It's very pungent. It's like, they're just, come on, man, just open the windows.
A little too paranoid,
Right? I was also like, just go to the venue. No, he canceled like 3 or 4 dates on that tour. And the first one, he said something about the audience and wasn't into it. I think he just didn't want to be on that tour, to be honest.
Yeah.
He walked up and found a bunch of like emo kids wanting to hear Blink-182 and was like, woops.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this shit.
I did this wrong.
Yeah, I'm Lil Wayne. I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, no. He goes out there and raps to like little girls with like pink stripes in their hair. And he's like, I hate this. I'm Lil Wayne.
I guess, yeah, when you think about it, yeah, from that perspective, like, depending on the crowd, yeah, it'd be like, fuck this shit. What am I doing?
I love Lil Wayne and Blink, so I'm like, yes. But, like, also, is he even excited to see me in the audience? No. Like, I might be drinking some at least of age, but he's still not excited to see my ass in the crowd. I don't blame him. You catch me at Dave Matthews, I fit in there real well. We all know where I'm supposed to be.
Yo, lit. That's hilarious. No, speaking of that, K Valley, hold on.
Down in the valley where the girls get naked.
Yeah. She took me to an emo night a couple weeks ago at the Hawthorne.
Did you like it?
It was interesting.
Those are such a crash course in emo, too. That's like down the rabbit hole you go. You're fully in at that point. Black balloons usually hanging around, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm just really surprised he pulled off fishnets that well.
He keeps on trying to get that in. I was not wearing fishnets that night.
You should have been. You would have fit in better. Not gonna lie.
Just dark eyeshadow. That was it.
That's really all you need.
Went, yeah.
Honestly, just all black clothing and you're good to go. Honestly, if you bring a little bit of emotion back to your eyeball again, you sucked it back in, you just squirt it back out. I love that stuff. I grew up on that stuff. It's so funny. Makes me think. And of course, the radio station, we played so much of it. I got to go on a Story of the Year, took me on a cruise with them. It was a Warped Tour cruise, and they did the emo night. And it was the first time I saw it. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. So I've gone to a couple of them here in St. Louis. They're such a guilty pleasure. Brings me back to my Hot Topic days.
Yeah, like I said, it actually wasn't bad. It was interesting. To me, it was like, all right. So this is
everyone's singing along to literally every word.
Exactly. It just reminded me of okay, so if emo kids got to go to the club, if they got a night at Will House.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And they do. Speaking about, they do it across the street at Tin Roof. I think it's I want to say it's the first week of the month they have it.
Really?
Yes, my friend Alexa's a bartender there, and she's told me about it. I'm like, I need to go.
All right, K Valley, you already know.
Yeah, now you know. We'll go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Get me out there.
Yeah, that's not really my thing. I know.
But props for supporting it, honestly. That's another place where cannabis really comes in handy. I do not love country music. I just wasn't raised on it. Mm-hmm. It's not in there.
Same.
But my friends took me to a Rascal Flatts concert, and I got so high, and I loved the entire thing. Do I buy their music and sing along to it? No. Did I have a great time enjoying what my friends loved? Was I along with them for the ride, present? Was I dancing to the songs with actual genuine joy and not the fake, I'm here for my friend? Yes. That was a totally different experience I wouldn't have enjoyed had I not had cannabis, because had I not, I'm telling you now, I would have stood there and been like, oh, dang it. This is not for me at all. These songs are all sad or romantic, or there's beer drinking, and all I don't understand it, and what and everyone's doing it because and there's such a huge following. But that's cannabis. I mean, and honestly, I think people just want to be seen and heard so badly. So when somebody says to you, "Oh man, I'm really excited about this show or this movie or whatever," and then you disconnect and you don't buy into whatever they're saying, and it's somebody who does improv, you always say yes. So if you just buy into it, you can really give them a feeling of being heard and being seen, and cannabis can put you in that present state of mind in order to be patient. I think that's beautiful. I don't know how we're going to do studies on it, but it would be nice to be able to explain that to people, hey, you can actually, your patience can grow.
Yeah, for real though.
It's crazy. You can actually turn that bad boy up.
Yeah, it's one of the things I need to try though. I haven't tried it yet. Smoke and then go to improv.
I would like to see that too. Yeah. I think that's something you should definitely try out.
I feel like I'm gonna do it on the last day of class this time. Yeah, this semester. Yeah, this session.
I think you'll have less your inability. You will not be afraid. You won't be inhibited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll go out there and you'll make such brave and bold choices. I think it'll be your best performance yet. I truly believe that.
I think you're right. Because, what I've been trying to do so far, the reason why I haven't smoked before is, I really want to be able to be vulnerable without anything. First. And then once I kind of feel comfortable with that, then go ahead and be all right, let's see if I really am better with the weed.
Yeah. I'd like to think that I think people would hate it if I said, oh, I'm the best version of myself when I'm high. Because they're well, your normal status is not high, but also... Yeah, again, my body's making cannabinoids all the time,
exactly.
So it's kind of always in a status of high if you're real honest about it.
Yeah.
But I think that I sometimes just enjoy myself on such a different level because I'm able to let go of people are looking at me, or I probably look stupid or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a fun idea. I can just jump right in.
Hell yeah.
And if you don't feel that way, then I bummed for you because I know there are people who feel more paranoid and more afraid, and I just really hate that. But again, we're all different. Everybody is different.
Exactly. Like for me, like I smoke I don't smoke all day every day because I still got I work, so I'm not able to smoke like then. But when I'm not working though, blowing it down, and I still feel regular, and I feel actually more comfortable when I smoke. Like I feel like my anxiety is lower. Like I don't know, it's shit. It honestly makes me feel like a better version of myself. I learned that last year because I did Sober October, and I just realized like how much pain I was in and how I was always anxious and just unnecessarily. And it's kind of like, okay, I think one of the things I was trying to figure out was like, is this like, am I addicted to it, or do I really need it, or is this just something that I feel like I was struggling with? Is this really a stigma or not? And through that, I learned like, no, this really does help me. Like this is a medicine. Like it's okay for this to be my thing. There's nothing wrong with it.
I like to for people who don't smoke, like say the worst headache you've ever had, because headaches are like a really dulling, annoying. They can be like hour after hour, and like 4 or 5 hours in, you're cranky. You're like short with people. You're shorter with your kid. Like that's exactly it. And there are people who have like you said, your chronic foot pain, and it can make you so miserable. It can make you miserable to the people around you, which then affects your relationships, which then affects your self-esteem with yourself. And it's this whole swirl. And it's like, wow, it really boils down to the fact that he's just actually in pain.
Exactly.
And that pain has turned everything. So if you can start directly at getting at that pain, then it really turns everything around. It's really brilliant. And I feel the same way about it, especially with anxiety and stress. It definitely makes me able to handle an influx of people. I get overstimulated really easily. My ADHD, I was diagnosed really young, so I get very overstimulated. So especially going out to people, so like at Point Fest or concerts, I would always smoke beforehand because there'd be so many people and they'd be like, oh, hey, Lux, I heard you talk about this, or that's so great. Or the radio guy would be like, hey, we need you to go to the stage intro now. And then the band would be like, hey, thank you. And like I would just, people and lights and sounds, and like I would go home and be like rocking a little bit and like just stimming myself away. And I'm like, oh man, when I smoke, I go and I'm like, oh, hey, good to see you. And in my brain, I'm like, this is so nice. This person likes my radio station and we enjoy the same stuff. Let's take a photo. And that's not the way that an overstimulated brain responds. It doesn't take that stimuli in the same way. So that's one of the things I get out of it. I hope everybody finds what they need and then targets that, because that's really honestly what everybody wants, is to feel healthy and happy. So it's like, okay, is it migraine pain for you? Is it stress? Because there's different ways to go about it, of course, and with the different strains and the different percentages of CBD to THC. Like even you and I smoking these CBD cigarettes took down the psychoactivity of the THC that we had smoked before that. So there's just a lot of ways to consume, I would say intentionally, that I think is, which is, really great.
Yeah, and being responsible about it too. Just like understanding like the differences between the THC and the CBD. Like you can have some THC, and like you said, we can calm it down with some CBD. Yeah. Which
is a good trick if you're ever like, if you smoke and you feel like you're too high. Get your CBD out. You can get CBD in flour and put it into your THC. There's just so many ways to, again, choose your adventure. That's why I think those MiDose or MiDose pens are going to become really great, because being able to inhale, it vibrates, tells you I've had one hit. Because people are always like, well, if I smoke it, how do I know exactly how much am I getting? Am I going to get too high? And it's like, well, let's take that guesswork out of it for you and make it easy for you to consume as a patient.
Hell yeah.
And I hope a lot of people still go through with the medical process, even though obviously with rec use they don't have to. I still think it's so beneficial. The doctor that I have talked to was so helpful. There's still so much out there that you can learn about which terpenes specifically are anti-inflammatory, which ones would help stimulate appetite, because perhaps you're wanting to stimulate your appetite because you're dealing with cancer medications or something, and you're using a terpene that doesn't do that. You might not be getting that effect, and you're going to go, well, cannabis isn't working for me. And you say, well, no, let's try with the proper terpene crossover. Let's see if we can get this effect for you to work the way you want it to. And not give up and just go, okay, well, I just smoked some bud and it didn't help me.
Exactly. Speaking of that, I didn't even ask you this. What are some of your favorite strains?
Ooh. Always love Blue Dream. Always good. Always good.
Got some homies that are growing that right now.
Yeah, OG Kush. Always good. I don't know. I just bounce around. For me, it's more terpene related, or if it's something I haven't tried. Like when the cookies came out, I went through and was like, I need to try all the strains. And that apples and bananas
Yeah, okay.
is still just a beautiful piece of work to me.
Okay.
Some of the other ones I liked, but that one I just really fell hard for. But that was the first time that I was like, oh, I'm just going to try a bunch of strains. And normally I'm like, all right, which one has as much limonene and pinene as possible, especially for the ADHD. Try and get as much limonene as there as possible.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I can barely pronounce caraffoli. I can barely pronounce half of them. We should have just picked easier words. Somebody should have picked easier words. Science people.
Yeah, for real.
You leave it to the science people. Let's make this as confusing for the general public as possible. You have to find this wheel of terribly spelled words and pick them out and cross them over.
Yeah, but like...
That's why you have people like us. We'll help you.
Like I say, you look fancy whenever you say them, though. Really, like you know what you're talking about.
No, caraffoline. Did you see? That was so many syllables. I felt fancy already. Give me some glasses, like pinky up.
I feel, what do we say? We're connoisseurs.
Yeah.
That's a great term. That's kind of fun too. Like I'm really excited to see all the marketing and the fun stuff that people can do with cannabis, and also just like the products. I'm seeing vapes where you can put 2 cartridges in, so you can mix your flavor, and that's something I have not experienced yet. But when I went to Vegas for the
MJ BizCon?
I went for MJ BizCon, and I saw there was a bunch of them. That's like, I guess, going to be a new thing. I'm very excited about this. Like being able to maybe mix your sativa and indica if you're wanting something more of a hybrid, like a direct hybrid, or if you're, again, trying to make sure you get the terpenes you want, you can mix. I like that. Or they're having, ones that are 2 grams as opposed to the 1 gram of the 0.5. Yeah, like seeing the solutions to any kind of
extendo joints.
Yeah, I love seeing all the products. I'm like, these are all so cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like, look, like little tricks.
Little tricks box. Yeah, that's my first rig ever.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what?
Shout out to the homie Ryan. Yeah.
Did you make it or paint it or?
No, he just bought it for me.
Oh, that's so cool. Like when it comes to like tarot cards, your first deck is supposed to be gifted to you. That's kind of special that your first rig was gifted to you.
Oh yeah,
that's like always kind of nice.
And then shout out to the homie BC Glasswork. He actually made this.
Yeah, with the tiny little, is that like a little duck? It was so cute, the little guy on top.
He didn't make the duck, but he made this piece.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
People really out here just blowing glass into these incredible shapes that are totally practical and just amazing.
He's actually supposed to be having an event. I believe it's April 1st.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
will you let me know when that happens?
For sure. It's supposed to be like all the glass blowers and all that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Plus, he's a Tower Grove Farmers Market.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Out there a couple times.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be out there this Saturday.
Oh, that's dope.
His marbles are gorgeous.
Yeah, that's one of my close homies too. Like he was actually one of my favorite episodes. Honestly, we had a really great episode.
Yeah.
It's been on multiple times actually. Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Shout out Ben.
People like there's what store was it? I think it was CBD Kratom and Mr. Nice Guy. They're owned by the same company. I don't know if you know much about them. But their story is actually really interesting.
Really?
Like the cute cartoon man is the father, and the siblings own the company, and they moved here to the United States because he was sick and they were trying to find cannabis medicine. So and now the daughter who runs the company lives here in St. Louis, and she just loves St. Louis. It's so great. Not from here, but I love to see that it was another story of like a family literally trying to find medicine, like coming to America, being like, how do we figure this out?
That's
so
dope.
great. But they have an incredible store out there in St. Charles, and they have some glass pieces that are like from the floor up. They're thousands of dollars. And I'm like, who made this?
Exactly.
It's so giant, and like there crazy bobbles hanging off of things, and like different shapes, and like what? Who does like how? Your artist brains are incredible.
Yeah, some of the homies. I think some of Ben's pieces have been in CBD Credium and Mr. Nice Guys.
Yeah, I love it. I love they love to collab with local people too.
Yeah.
That's the other cool thing. I wonder if I've met your friend Brian, because I met somebody when I was out there.
You might have, yeah. We got a couple of the homies.
Yeah, let me know what the podcast episode is too, so I want to hit there. I want to hear that too. I can't believe this is 110 already. Wowzers! How do you feel about that?
It's almost 2 hours.
No, I mean 110 is in. This is your episode number 110. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? I mean, like,
I came home pretty late, but what was that, episode 50? So it's only my fifth. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is shit. I feel like it's just the beginning, honestly. Like, I love doing this. I really want to, we've been talking about it. We really want to kind of expand the show a little bit more. So, like, kind of branching out our audience. So, more so, like, Mondays, it would be cannabis people. And then maybe Wednesdays, do, like, more expand our audience.
Yeah. I love that.
Hell yeah.
110 episodes. That's a long time. It's a lot of dedication. That's very cool.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot of
nice round number. I'm like, yeah, episode 110. Like,
hell yeah. I feel like shit. I don't know. It's been dope to watch it evolve. And kind of like I feel like I've had a guideline for how I wanted to go, and it's weird because it's actually happening. So that's weird as fuck, honestly.
That's how you're gonna manifest that next year.
Yeah.
You'll be doing this full time.
Yeah, for real.
You wrote it down. You made it happen. We spoke it out into the universe. We were all here for it.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
2024 first episode of next year. You're gonna be like, oh no, I'm just gonna do this.
Hell yeah. Shit. We do this. Hopefully we got, like I said, Cooking with Buds coming soon.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
No, are you guys gonna host this stuff on? Do you guys do Twitch at all?
Not yet.
Twitch?
No, we've been talking about it quite a bit.
We got a Patreon, and then we got YouTube.
Obviously,
we're getting ready to start really getting to it with those two. Like, I'm trying to learn how to do video editing myself, cause like right now, like honestly, all the responsibility is on Tyler, and like he's been like, nah, man, he's been killing it, and it's like that's one of the things that I'm trying to expand myself this year.
Yeah.
It's like learning how to branch out myself.
Yep.
And like how to create content fully, not just be in it, but also be able to like, edit it.
Yeah.
And all that stuff too. Cause I see things in my mind. I kind of want to start directing and stuff too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to like actually do it. Cause I was never a school person. So like after I got done with CBC, I was like, fuck school.
I mean, you went to one of the most intense high schools though. Like when you think about the parochial, like, school system, especially the preparatory ones.
Exactly.
Like I went to Parkway Central. Your high school was probably like college compared to mine.
Yeah, it was lit.
We had a different high school experience.
Yeah, for real though. It was amazing. Like that was the one thing because I
definitely. I mean, if you just feel like you'd be drained after that, the same way you would. You know what I mean? Like that was extreme school.
It kind of like it. Honestly, because I came from Normandy, so it was a whole different perspective. It showed me like things were really possible because it was coming like, I didn't come from like super shitty means or anything like that, but I also got to see like where, you can be something bigger than where you come from.
Yeah,
and that was one of the biggest inspirations. Like I still got homies that have been on the show or like I connect with to this day from there, and it's just like the connections, like I don't know, the experiences that I got, I would have never been able to get them if I hadn't have gone to that school. That's for sure.
I
Like,
can't believe we literally were going to schools like down the street from each other. Pretty much.
yeah,
that's as St. Louis as you get.
Yeah, for real, yo. And it's like I don't know, man.
I keep thinking about going back, honestly. Like,
really?
Just like taking classes again, like the same. I did video classes at Webster when I was in school there. I graduated. I haven't used any of it. I did radio, so I did none of it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I do all this stuff via social media, but wouldn't it be great if I like literally could just edit it on an actual editing platform instead of using in-platform apps? Like I edit everything in TikTok or in Instagram, which, as I'm sure you don't love social media, but it's literally such a pain in the dick. It's like I'm making more work for myself. Like it's obviously a worse platform. You're working with like really good stuff,
Yeah.
So it's like, where do we, as an adult, do we go back and take the classes? Where do we take the, what I mean? How do we do, or do you just YouTube?
Yeah.
You just YouTube everything.
I think I learned that more than film school.
Yeah. Like, I finally bought Premiere Pro and all that.
Yeah.
So like I've been doing the tutorials and all that. That shit still sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I do that 60 hours a week.
Do you really?
Bro.
Roughly editing time 60 to 70, yeah.
It's weird how editing hours don't feel like real hours.
No, you look down, it's like, it's already 6 p.m. Okay.
I just lost 7 hours. What?
That is crazy.
I didn't eat? That's about right.
That's fine. You're just waiting for the Adderall to kick in.
As somebody who's mutually prescribed, yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Shit. But like I said, one of these days, by the end of this year, I want to be able to like completely do clips, like, and then expand into bigger things, but clips for sure.
Yes.
I have those like down packed.
Do it. I also just love that people are so multifaceted. We always kind of put people in a box, like, oh, you're a podcast person, or you're a video person, or you're a social media person. Yeah. But in reality, we all have these abilities to do all these different things. Yeah. And if we just let everybody just try so much more, it's just going to benefit us in the long run. I feel like everyone's like, oh, Lux, you're the radio person. And I want to be like, well, I'm also this, and I also like that, and I'm also these kind of things. So, like, I'm glad to see you like just choosing to do any of the multifaceted things that you want to as a human instead of just putting yourself in that one box. Like, oh, I'm just a cannabis podcaster. That's what I do.
Yeah. No, I want to be an entertainer. Like, so I look at Joe Budden is my favorite podcaster.
Yeah.
But, you know, he started out as a rapper and then he turned into a podcaster. But I feel like cannabis is going to be I feel like everybody has their beginning. So yours would be radio.
Yeah.
But now you're branching into other things. Like, everybody has their medium that they start with, and then they branch out to other things that they really want to do.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like...
You start with what you know and what you love.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to, you know what I mean, to have the passion for it, to keep it going, and it's something you're knowledgeable about. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the way you go. 100%.
I really wanted to find a niche first. So then it's like, once you perfect that, then you can go into, like, really expanding your audience and talking to, like I said, I want to talk to any and everyone. That's the ultimate goal. Just to sit up here and smoke, or even shit, we be drinking up here sometimes too. You just do whatever and just hang and still have the Too T3rp going on, but like just talk to any and everyone.
Yeah. I think those are the best podcasts where you're just like listening to people just shoot the shit.
Yeah. And, you know, start doing some comedy shit like sketches and all that. Like, we've been talking about that for a minute. That's one of the reasons I started doing improv too. Yeah, I'm
obsessed with Amy Schumer, and she just put out the new season of her show. I think it's on Prime, but it's really funny. Okay. But again, it's sketches and then comedy. But yeah, that's great. No. Where do you take your improv classes?
The Improv Shop.
Okay.
Right off of Manchester.
Yeah, and the Grove, or Central West End.
Grove.
Grove.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Shout out to my class, yo. We just we didn't even have class this week, but we met up yesterday and practiced. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah. How fun though too. Like, theater people are special people. We really are. Like, I was raised by one. I am one. It's not at all shocking that cannabis and theater would go hand in hand, because again, the most accepting people. You know, you're putting on so many different roles as an actor. So like, you're just used to being like, okay, we accept you. You're going to have to play every single different role you want in here. You can be anyone you want. You go play a sport, and they're like, if you're not tall or big or ripped, you can't play this. In theater, they're like, yeah, bring everybody. We need everybody. Come on in.
This is funny as hell. This is my quarter life crisis. I turned into a theater nerd. I avoided it all through high school. Like, all the times where it would have been embarrassing, and I'm like, nah, now. That's hilarious. You just made me realize that. I'm like, damn,
hold
you really
on,
are.
Shit. As an inner theater kid this entire time, I knew it. Like, you were probably friendly. You were nice to kids when they were new. Somebody probably made you like, oh, he's going to show you around. Donovan's going to show you around. You're like, yep. Like, if you're that kid, you're a theater kid.
Well, I always went to different schools, so I always had to adapt.
I was going to say, my mom went to 5 high schools in 4 years, so she was the same way, so I feel like a theater program is a really good space, and cannabis is definitely the same way, which is why I need to get out to some of those events. Is there one coming up that I should, like, get into for sure?
I know that one, April 1st.
I know it's so early in the year, I don't know if anybody's planned anything.
Oh, yeah, there's an event, Cannabis and Tattoos.
Okay, that I love. I have lots of those.
Yeah, which it's the same organizers as Tattoo the Lou.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, that sounds fun.
LT. Trying to think.
Because I just want to go to one of the... Is it Sanct that's a lounge that's open, or is it Cola? Which one's open now?
The Cola Lounge. Shout out Brennan. And them.
Yep, love Brennan. He's so cool.
Hell yeah, he's still tight. We had him on the show too. Yeah.
I have a video of him and I using one of those fancy like glass gravity bongs from
I still need to use one of those, yo. I saw Wiz.
I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, I saw Wiz using this on Instagram, and I put it in my like saved folder. It's like 1,000. Those things are so expensive. Yeah. Every time a company tries to like give them away, I will tag everybody. I have no shame. It's like tag your friends for extra. I'm like, everybody on my friends list. They're like, I don't even smoke. I'm like, I do not care.
That's right. That means you're gonna give it to me then.
Dude, one day I'm gonna win it, and if I do, I will bring it here. We will utilize it on the pod.
Hell yeah, for real though. Shit, man.
I've just spoken that out into the universe. Now I really want it.
Yeah. Now either way, yeah, we gotta get that shit for real, yo. Yo, man, this is fun, yo.
Well, glad.
I'm glad this is the first episode too of the year.
Yeah,
we started out right, yo.
Yeah. I love that I'm bringing in the beginning. My ASMR. Happy 2023.
That's right, that asthma.
Yeah. Dude, that goes so well with weed too. Like I don't know. I think I have been listening to my body so much more as I age, and cannabis helps me listen to my body. Obviously, when you don't have pain anymore, you're like, well, I no longer feel that kind of pain. But like listening to my body and just like an overall sense has become such like a part of this. And like ASMR actually has a scientific thing where it triggers the back of your brain. But like I tried it. I remember trying it in like 2008 and like watching the videos on YouTube and being like, this is nonsense. And now that I'm listening to my body and I smoke, I literally get tingles and pass out like every time I watch one of those videos. And I'm like, I don't think I would notice this kind of stuff if I didn't utilize cannabis, because you're so focused on doing the dishes and picking this up and reading this email and doing this. Like you just do not listen to your body. You miss the headaches. You miss the cramps. People get sick and then they don't realize how sick they are because they're not like listening to themselves. But
that's true.
Overall, I think the number one thing I think about cannabis is that it puts me in the present. I think I said this, I don't know if it was, I just was talking to the folks over at Mo Greenway, but like I have anxiety and depression, and like anxiety is me worrying about the future, and depression is me being sad about things that didn't happen in the past. But like cannabis puts me in the present, and for some reason when I'm in the present, everything's good. Like I can breathe right now. I have water. I'm in a nice place, sitting in a nice chair. Like just the basics are all taken care of, but I would never think of that kind of stuff. I'd be too worried about tomorrow or what happened yesterday if I wasn't consuming.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you're right. So, how do you, well, you did it anyway. So I guess that defeats the purpose. You said you smoked anyway. I was going to say, how do you think it'd be different if you had to like, actually, no, that still would be different. If you had been able to smoke while you were actually on air, do you think that would have been a difference?
Oh, man. I think I probably would, my timing would have been off. I will say, somebody with ADHD, time blindness is something that I struggle with. So one of the things that I was really cognizant of when I was on the radio was making sure I wasn't talking for too long, or making sure that I was kind of like getting in and getting out, because nobody wants to hear anybody jabber for a really long time unless it's something truly entertaining or truly important information-wise. Nobody wants to hear it. So my goal would be to talk between anywhere like 10 seconds on a low end of just telling you who the song is or something that's going to come up, and maybe 90 seconds at the most. And like if I were smoking and on air, I probably would just be talking and I would just like let it go. I'm sure I would have just like let it go. But man, I'd be so stoked to get off the air and get home. I'd be like, yay, I could get high again. But also not having to work till 2 in the afternoon. I could get up at 7 a.m., smoke, do yoga, make myself breakfast, journal, like do any of the things that I would need to, that I could go into the station around, like 11 or noon and start prepping for the show, and then totally fine at 2 o'clock. And by the time I get off air, ready to go home and have my glass of not wine.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
My joint. But truthfully, I'm a bong girl. I have a water pipe, is what we used to call it in the Prohibition days. When you'd like walk into Sunshine Daydream and you say, I want a bong, and they'd all like literally go to the back room and you'd be like, everybody had like left you. No, you couldn't say that. You had to say water pipe. It's 3 foot tall, and I named it Shaq. Because Shaquille O'Neal is my favorite basketball player. Hey. And it's so funny. So I gave my mom a bong for Christmas a couple years ago. And the other day I asked her, like, did you name it? And she said she named it Kobe. And I was like, this is funny because my mom doesn't like sports. She doesn't care about basketball. And I was like, well, maybe she knows the relationship between Kobe and Shaq, and she's just playing off that. And then we were watching We Are the Millers. Have you seen that movie? Mm-mm. Oh my God, it's a great stoner movie, but it's Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston, and they're carrying cannabis from Mexico over to the United States in a RV, and she's holding it as if it's a baby and trying to play it off like a giant pound, like it's a baby, and she names it Kobe, and I was like, that is literally so brilliant. Like, she named it after like the baby weed in there. Had no idea that Kobe and Shaq had this great relationship. I was like, yeah, because of basketball, right? She's like, because of Kobe from We Are the Millers, and I was like, I'm so dumb, but yes, that makes total sense. Also, you guys should watch that movie. Put this on Smiley Face. You got to watch that one, and then you got to watch We Are the Millers, and then of course Super High Me. Now you guys have a list of movies. You're welcome.
Hell yeah, yo. You on assignment? Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I'm excited for that Super High Me though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Smiley, that sounds scary though.
It's Smiley Face. It's called Smiley Face. It's Anna Faris, and she's just really high. Not the Smile movie that's creeping me out on my streams.
Oh, see, like, I'm glad we clarified that.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
See, I've been up here talking about.
Oh no, I don't feel like getting high and watching horror movies are necessarily a great pairing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's got a warped sense of weed movies here. What is this?
Yeah. Like, you just get high and watch The Purge. It's great. Lux, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, man. It's fire. Okay. I feel like we took enough of your time already.
Good. Anything else you need from me?
Trying to think. I want to save it because I want you to come back. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. For real, though, this was fun.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being an advocate for cannabis before we lifted some of the stigma. We still have so much further to go, as you know, and you're going to continue to do that, which is great. But just thanks for letting me be on here, and thanks for welcoming me to the community. I'm definitely still a noob to the cannabis world, and I just want to meet everybody and help everybody reach the consumer they're looking for, and help the consumers find the information, the products, anything they're looking for, basically connecting the two, and you guys are doing that. So thanks for that.
No, thank you. Shit, you're helping us expand our audience, honestly. So this is really dope. Yeah. I really thank you for this.
Of course.
Yeah, it's my little young media heart here is fluttering right now. You know?
Pretty soon you'll be doing this for somebody else. You'll be turning around like, oh, you've had a podcast for like 12 years, and you'll be showing somebody else how to do it.
Yeah, honestly, that's the goal, yo. Each one teach one, for real, for real.
That's the truth.
I really believe in that. Yeah.
Such a cannabis thing to say too. And we puff and we pass. You know what I mean? We're not like puff stare at that guy like an asshole. Like, we're a kind community.
Not for real though.
From the past, you pay it forward. You know? Yeah.
Sometimes, like, especially in the city, like if, if I, back in the past tense when I used to smoke in my car, you know, if I had a little bit left, you see like the homeless person on the side, pass them the rest of the joint.
Yeah, help them out.
Yeah.
That's the goodness. That's the goodness in your heart.
Yeah. Cause I mean, they deserve some fire, yo.
Yep. Honestly, how do you? Anytime you have it and you hear somebody like, "Where's that smell coming from?" You're like, "Bro, if you can find it, you can recognize it, you can identify it. We're friends. Yeah. We're friends. Wow. if you're calling the cops, I'm running."
Yeah, we don't mess with them folks. For real. Look. All right, let them know where you can find you at.
You can find me on all the socials at Lux St. Lou. That is my lifestyle page. But if you want to talk mostly about cannabis, at Midwestern Mary Jane or at Weed Get Along.
Hell yeah. All right.
You can find me on the streets or at the IG at No Socials T.
Ooh, okay.
On the streets.
Yeah, too bad they won't know what you look like.
T's for the streets. T for the streets.
Oh.
T's for the streets.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
That was too good.
I had to.
T's for the streets.
Yo, this is amazing.
There's like 6 listeners of the show that'll agree with you.
Hey, if you're in the know, you're in the know.
Those are the ones that they did good on the chart, right? Oh, you got to tell Lux about that.
No. Maybe off air.
Yeah, we'll tell you about it. It's the funniest thing in the world, yo. All right, yeah. Let me wrap this. Oh yeah, that was way too turped. I forgot we talked about that on way too turped. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the lost episodes. One of these days we're gonna like make $100 tier, and we'll split it with Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those few episodes that we did, we'll go ahead and air them one day.
You should.
Yeah, trust, they're wild, like crazy.
A lot of mac and cheese.
All right. Well, on that note, make sure you follow Ryan Rizk. You follow on all social media platforms. Shout out Flucker. Make sure you follow Eddie at Eddie_1991_. And then make sure you follow Flucker on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you hit up that Patreon. Discord coming to the public soon. Yeah, so make sure you look out for that. The hotline number changed. So, yeah, once that gets figured out, I'll start running that again. Make sure you listen to all the old episodes and all that. And then make sure you follow me, Donovan2408, on all social media platforms. Yeah. Damn. Feels good to be back, yo.
Toot, 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 derp.
Hell yeah. I like that. Yo.
That was my impression of the button.
Yeah, always.
It's 2
I sounded just the same as you. Just exactly the same. Toot, 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 derped. Isn't that what he sounded like? Guys. I'm telling you.
I think so too. You got it.
Timestamp that.
I was gonna say that's gonna be the new drop now. Peace.
It's 2